I ripped right through it.
John, this is why you don't have fun. You don't allow yourself to wonder.
I wonder all the time. I wonder how I've made it this long being next to you two.
Unsportsmanlike Conduct with John Bishop and Josh Peterson. Weekdays 2 to 6 on 1620 The Zone. Your Omaha area forecast presented by Funplex Water Park and Rides from the KETV Newswatch 7 Weather Center on 1620 The Zone.
Friday is a severe weather day with a chance for strong to severe storms in the metro, mainly between 2 and 6 p.m. All modes of severe weather in play with any stronger storms. Otherwise, expect warm, humid, and breezy conditions with highs in the mid to upper 80s. I'm meteorologist Sean Everson from KETV Newswatch 7.
1620 The Zone. Traffic.
From the Pyramid Roofing Time-Saving Traffic Center. Happy Feel Good Friday. Not a whole lot of activity in the Omaha Metro with no accidents or delays to report. There's a couple closures due to the flooding in the Missouri River. You won't be able to take I-680 in both directions between exits 13 in Omaha and I-29 in Iowa. Same thing applies with I-29 in both directions between I-480 and I-880. Otherwise, you should not worry about being late to your destination. Just be sure to buckle up and drive safe out there. I'm Joey Colbert.
This time-saving traffic is brought to you by Modern Real Estate.
Introducing Modern Real Estate, the game changer in Nebraska's property market. With a competitive 2% commission rate, we're making buying, selling, and investing more affordable and transparent than ever. Visit modernrealestateco.com and experience the future of real estate today.
We are excited to announce the grand opening of Saul's Jewelry and Loan's new downtown location. It's a Saul's shopping experience like you've never seen in this beautiful, historic location. And of course, we brought in tons of new inventory, amazing jewelry finds at our famous best in town prices, motorcycles, tools, bikes, guitars. And as always, get a cash on the spot loan from $10,000 to $50,000. Everything you've come to expect from Saul's in our new location. 22nd and Hardy, downtown Omaha, Saul's Jewelry and Loan.
I'm Bridget Condon with NFL Network Now on the Westwood One Radio Network. According to NFL Network insider Tom Pelissero, 49ers wide receiver Brandon Ayuk and the team had a, quote, good meeting in regards to working toward an extension. Ayuk is due $14.1 million in his base salary this year in the final season of his rookie first-round contract. Staying in the NFC West, Rams receiver Puka Nacua set a rookie record with over 1,400 receiving yards last season. So what's next? His position coach Eric Yarber told ESPN, quote, he's lost so much body fat and gained so much lean muscle, which enabled him to move more efficiently now. During an appearance on The Insiders, new Commanders running back Austin Eckler wanted to clear things up, saying, quote, you're going to get the best version of myself. He went on to say, quote, there's been this controversy out there, like, oh, Austin said he doesn't want 300 carries because that's what the Chargers said. I've never had that many carries ever. This has been NFL Network Now on the Westwood One Radio Network.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm. If you own a timeshare, don't miss this public service announcement from Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group.
If you receive an unsolicited phone call or mail piece to discuss selling, renting, or especially canceling your timeshare, don't fall for it. If you really want out of your timeshare, hang the phone up immediately or throw that mail piece in the trash and contact your timeshare resort or Wesley Financial Group for assistance with your timeshare. As the only Inc. 500 timeshare cancellation company, our knowledge, experience, and results has made Wesley a trusted resource for over 40,000 families we've helped get out of their timeshare. Give us a call and I'll send you our timeshare exit information kit free with the straight facts about your timeshare and all of your options for cancellation.
Call for your free info kit, 800-761-0000, 800-761-0000, 800-761-0000.
Hey, Nebraskans, your signatures are needed to finally legalize medical marijuana, but time is limited. There's nearly 1 week left. Get to the state's best liquor stores, wine, beer, and spirits today and sign. Support NMN2024.org to make a donation.
The Stormcast is the official podcast of the Omaha Storm Chasers, hosted by Nick Batters, the play-by-play voice of the Storm Chasers. Every episode features special guests, including past and present players and coaches, media members, and front office personnel. Listen wherever you get your podcasts.
Equitable Bank. We take banking personally. EquitableOnline.com.
Are you the decision maker in your company? Consider this. For the first time in decades, there's a better option for a corporate card and spend management platform. Meet Ramp, the only corporate card and spend management system designed to help you spend less money so you can make more. Most corporate credit cards offer points as incentives, but those points amount to less than their worth in real cash value. Ramp's business cards offer you cash back, real money in your pocket. Plus, you control who spends what with each vendor. And Ramp software collects and verifies receipts automatically, which means you'll stop wasteful spending and close your books in hours instead of days. Businesses that use Ramp add up to 5% to their bottom line the first year. If you're a decision maker, adding Ramp could be one of the best decisions you've ever made. And now get $250 when you join Ramp for free. Just go to ramp.com/sports. Ramp.com/sports. RAMP.com/sports.
Cards issued by Sutton Bank and Celtic Bank, members FDIC. Terms and conditions apply. Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online at hims.com/radio. Through HIMS, you'll get a free medical consultation to determine the ED medication that's best for you, discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and a range of treatment options, including trusted generic alternatives to the name brands, at up to 95% off. ED is personal, and at HIMS, so is treating it. Just go to hims.com/radio and get connected to a licensed medical provider online for free, with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, hims.com/radio. That's hims.com/radio for your free online visit. HIMS.com/RADIO.
Roofing, siding, and gutters. Make the right call with the rooferees at John Higgins Weather Guard.
1620 The Zone.
I'm in very good health. I just won 2 club championships, not even senior, 2 regular club championships. To do that, you have to be quite smart, and you have to be able to hit the ball a long way, and I do it. He doesn't do it. He can't hit a ball 50 yards. He challenged me to a golf match. He can't hit a ball 50 yards.
Thank you. President Biden?
Look, I'd be happy to have a driving contest with him. I got my handicap, which when I was vice president, down to a 6. And by the way, I told you before, I'm happy to play golf if you carry your own bag. Think you can do it? I was at 8 handicap. Yeah. But I had,
I've seen you swing. I know you swing.
President Trump, we're going to...
Let's not act like children.
Live from 50th and Capitol Avenue in the Big O. This is Mornings with Sharp and Handley on 1620 The Zone, 1620thezone.com, and 1620 The Zone TV. Now here's Gary, Nick, and Jimmy.
Here we go! Here we go!
Here we go on a feel-good Friday. Hey, there is nothing like dudes being dudes on national TV last night arguing over their golf handicap. We've all been there. We've all done that.
Oh, yeah.
On this station.
We've lied about it. Sometimes we've been brutally honest about it, but yep, it's a thing. This is where we are.
That was my takeaway. I guess I didn't leave work. Dudes arguing about their golf game.
Hey,
I love
mean,
it.
The next step last night would have been dudes just naming dudes.
Yeah.
Just randomly.
How great would that have been if they just end it that way, just naming dudes?
I'm like, you guys listen to 1620 because that's what we do. We name dudes. We're dudes naming dudes. Good morning, everybody.
Thank God the Royals-Cleveland game just moved swiftly last night.
That would be a great line.
I was able to catch
1620 The Zone. Dudes naming dudes.
Well, okay. So
we do that a lot during the crossover, too.
Hey, there's a lot of stuff going on here. We got lots of stuff to discuss this morning. We have to talk about the debate last night. We will get to that in just a moment.
Yeah,
but
I apologize to Bill Snyder for everything I've said. You young whippersnapper.
Well, I mean, there was a point last night. I thought I was watching Lee Corso. But good morning to all the people down the street at Memorial Park, because the Memorial Park concert is tonight. Looks like it might get a little weather midday today here in the Big O. But Roger Daltrey. Hey, the olds are back, baby.
Yep.
The olds are back. But Roger Daltrey's a banger, but he's performing tonight. I was not there for the running of the Omahans when they open up Memorial Park, so you can put down your chair or your blanket.
I had just missed it because there are already blankets down there, and I don't like the stereotype of profile, but
I'm sure you're probably going to do that today.
I saw what I assumed was a diehard Roger Daltrey fan.
Yeah,
crossing back over into the UNO campus because he parked over there.
I got questions, but continue.
He had looked a little bit older, but he had a Who concert T-shirt on.
Oh, okay. Because I was just going to ask, how would you know? Like, are you really like stereotyping?
No, he was
a bit older.
Older, I would say probably
hair.
in his 60s. No, he actually did not have
like
long
they've
hair.
Been smoked out.
Yeah, he did. He looked very thin. Had some worn out jeans, and he had a Who concert T-shirt on, and he was walking back very slowly to his car.
That's awesome. Yeah. I think the place will be packed. I mean, I'd go see Roger Daltrey.
Yeah, once the weather moves away, should be a great night.
Well, and who is it? Can somebody tell me? This is where
did you just say who?
Who? I did. Every time you say who, someone just has to yell.
Hey! Come back with Al City.
Who's Inhaler? That's the opening act. Inhaler.
Are they local?
Finger 11 tribute band?
Well, let's see. They are one of the breakthrough bands of the past decade.
Random.
They are from Dublin.
Dude's just naming bands.
I thought maybe one of you guys knew.
They're not local?
No, it doesn't sound like it.
I wonder if
very popular in the UK, and they were at Lollapalooza.
I wonder if on his tour, that's the group that opens up for him.
Could be.
I think they haven't in the past. They've had
they look
some
young.
local acts like start early in the day.
Like early before everybody starts settling in.
That would be cool.
Well, I mean, it would be a great opportunity. But it's it's like our kickoff to summer. People say the College World Series is the kickoff to summer. Some of us inside this building say it's the end of summer and the dread kicks in. But Memorial Park concert is kind of like the thing.
It is, yeah.
When Sugar Ray walked in the building one time when he was performing down there and we had him on air, that was a blank show.
As it should be.
Good on him. But yeah, I was.
Had he already started?
I think he was. He doesn't need to start or end. He just is all the time.
It was in the middle of the bender.
But I wish I would have been watching because I think when they blow the air horn, it's just a mad sprint for the best seats in the entire
like the Baylor student section.
Whoa!
No, it's like the running of the Gumps down at Alabama on autograph day.
This is cool. Jim on the stream. Inhaler's lead singers, Bono's son. Hence the tie to sponsor Susie Buffett.
Oh, okay, yeah, because it says they're from Dublin.
Jim is a historian. I don't know what Jim does for a living, but Jim is like he's kind of like you, Jimmy, a little bit, and he's a Rain Man. But he knows history. Like he knows a lot of Nebraska history, not just football or anything like that. So thank you. So that does make sense. So I hope the weather holds because that's a cool event for this community. Mm-hmm. But I was not there. Like when they have Alabama photo day, they call them the running of the Gumps because people line up outside of the gates. And then once they play Sweet Home Alabama. And then once it ends, the gates open up and you see the Alabamans sprinting, and they make Forrest Gump look really good.
Do they run like Forrest Gump?
They try.
So they pull running. Please tell me. I thought you coined that phrase. I hope you did because that's such a good one. Running of the Gumps.
Get it sponsored.
I like watching myself dance.
That's fun. See,
it's Friday.
These are the things you get on Zone TV. If you're not watching,
that is an exclusive. You don't get that while you're in your car. You think, what in the heck are those guys doing? But on Zone TV, you get to see the obnoxiousness. Just like last night in the debate, because sometimes, people see our facial reactions. You got to see facial reactions last night during the debate. But there was, how long, if you guys watch part of it, anyone out there, how long into it? Because everybody's going to talk about it today. Some have a format where that will be their 4-hour show.
Yep.
We will not be doing that other than dudes naming dudes and dudes fighting about their golf handicap.
Which is what we do.
Yeah, it entered our world.
And also, hey, let's give some love for the club champions. That's not easy to do.
No.
Okay, do not disrespect the club golf champions because that is hard to do. But at what point last night if you watched it, because you're right, I watched the Guardians and the Royals play.
Bad strikes.
And I watched Caitlin Clark. Who was hooping it up last night against Seattle for a bit. But I was tuning in. I was in and out. But at what point did you go, God, do we need college football?
When they walked out?
Yeah.
I started looking up when's the video game debut because I saw a list yesterday about best offenses and defenses. So
I'm trying to remember because, I was between putting the Cleveland game, putting Reese to bed, and then following along. When was the part where Biden mentioned something about Medicare, and it was Michael Scott trying to talk to the CFO, and all of a sudden he just loses his train of thought in the middle of it, and then he stops and goes, "Sometimes I just wander off. I don't even know what I'm saying. And I'm hoping it'll come to me and at some point." That's where I was like, "Oh God."
Yeah, that was real life last night. We've all, in all honesty, we all have been around like parents that have gotten a little bit older, and it's sometimes tough. And that's why I said I thought I was watching Lee Corso.
Right.
We kind of watched that, but it was one of those things. It was one of those things.
Yeah, there you go.
Last night where
grumpy old men.
where I don't know, how much a debate like that sways your opinion on if you're going to vote for somebody or not. And the way that they're supposed to be is to educate the voters. I don't know if it educated the voters or scared the crap out of everybody.
That.
Yeah.
I mean, like if Reese was old enough to understand what was going on last night, he'd be scared.
Yeah, and he'd have a lot of questions that I unfortunately would not be able to answer for him.
The whole
Dad, how does Toronto sound?
We're in a rough little patch here with the two people that are running for president. But we have college football 9 weeks from tomorrow.
Yeah, we do.
We will have college football. Some places, if you're playing week 0, it's a little bit earlier. Yeah. I mean, training camps will be
6 days.
By this time a month from now. NFL training camps will be open, and we'll be talking about football.
Yes,
and naming more dudes.
And we'll be naming plenty of dudes that are on 90-man rosters. Yes.
Dudes on depth charts.
Yeah. We might be naming fathers that hire sons to coach with them.
Yes.
So yesterday, my gosh, we made it through the second round of the NBA draft.
That was brutal.
Ooh, I didn't think LeBron's son was going to be drafted.
Sure.
Better not draft him. You'll get blackballed.
But he did go 55 to the Lakers.
Thought they were all going to cry on the panel.
Well, I got thoughts on what. Did you know Stephen A. Smith, who really had no idea who most of those guys, if not all of those guys except one, was yesterday? He was on Newsmax last night.
Really?
Yeah, he's dabbled in the political world.
Yeah, I remember. Okay, yeah, I remember that.
But here's the way.
I didn't know that last night, but yeah, I know he has gone that way.
He's not a journalist anymore. He's an entertainer.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's that.
Yes.
It was, I don't know. I mean, the whole draft was dominated by a second round pick.
Yeah.
That's unfortunately that's what the NBA was this year. But day 2 of the NBA draft is held during the daytime on the Get Up studio, like right there on the set.
Yeah.
I mean, come on, what are we doing? And then the production wasn't very good, and they didn't have, as I said yesterday, they didn't have people that knew college basketball players. I don't want to hear about the NBA. I want somebody to go, here's what they did in college, and I think this is what it can look like when they get to the pros, instead of just talking about the pros, instead of, I have no idea who this player is, which I thought for the most part, like a Bob Myers a little bit, but Stephen A. Smith, he didn't know. He didn't know who majority of those guys were. And
what's he do?
And Woj was more concerned about his 2 phones and breaking stories. So we made it through the NBA draft. Trey Alexander did not get drafted. Absolutely no regrets. Once you go in, you roll the dice, and especially in his situation, but he did not get drafted, and you can't sit there and go, well, what if I would have gone back? No, you made that decision when the season was over. You packed up your belongings and headed to Oklahoma City to go to the NBA. He actually may have turned out fairly well for him, getting an undrafted free agent deal with Denver, where he can play in the G League and then be around a pretty good organization that has a history of developing players.
Could get a little pony from the Joker.
Yeah, the player development part of it is, and with the G League too, let's face it, more than 10 years ago, what were you even making if you were going to be playing in the developmental league? Now, I mean, it's a little bit more lucrative. They've got a little bit more involved when it does come to player development. I know a lot of the things that they kind of lent to the younger players to educate them. But again, more than anything, there's a little bit more money into it now than there was. So, you're still making a little bit of coin in the developmental process. So all in all, not a bad thing. The Bronny thing, I was telling Jimmy this when I walked in, and I knew better. I probably didn't need to do this, but before I went to bed last night, I was watching some highlights. Well, the first highlight was round the clock coverage of Bronny. Mm-hmm. And it was A block, then a reiteration in the B block, then maybe in the D block as well. So you basically would start each block with Bronny reaction. Then you'd go to a couple of Major League Baseball highlights, and you go back to Bronny reaction.
And you'd ask them for Bronny reaction.
Yeah, it's almost like I'm surprised Bryce Harper, who's dealing with a hammy, they just say, hey, by the way, Bronny 55, what do you think? That was...
Bryce didn't make the debate.
Not surprising, but a bit much for a guy who went 55th and who is going to, again, be...
Oh, it was not surprising at all.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what the draft was.
Yeah, I'm more sad the Spurs traded Furphy.
So, for all intents and purposes, the kid seems like a really good kid who someone needs to help him. The easy part is over. Now the hard part is you're going to be under so much scrutiny of can you play basketball at that level and how quickly I can buy a South Bay Laker jersey.
Right. Yep.
Which if I'm their G League team and I get a dose of Bronny James, I'm like in heaven because look at how many jerseys you're going to sell. But his agent, so Rich Paul, says, no, we're not going to sign a two-way. Oh, buckle up.
Okay.
But they're like, it's anything nowadays with LeBron is polarizing. But through all of this, because there's a lot of discussion points about what happened yesterday and father-son relationship. We do have to acknowledge the mere fact, LeBron's one of the greatest players of all time, a longevity that he has played in the NBA long enough that he will have the opportunity to play with his son.
Yeah.
We do have to acknowledge that. You can dispute your love or hate of LeBron. You have to recognize the man's got some longevity that he is going to be able to play with his son. I mean, 40 years old. And, I think if your father-son relationship, if you've ever been where, other than the Griffies, if you've ever, played with your son or even like coached your son, there is an emotional moment of that.
Yeah.
But there's just so much surrounding it that I don't know if it's a feel-good story. It's tough to find a feel-good part of what just happened with LeBron, the Lakers, and his son.
Well,
and then you throw in the agent, you throw in JJ Redick, you throw in where the Lakers are. They did Jeff Pearlman did the HBO series Winning Time. Do the Lakers want to win or they just want to appease 23?
And so that's why I would say it isn't your classic feel-good story, because this thing has been in the works for years now. I mean, it's been talked about since we saw Bronny as a McDonald's All-American, when he was in high school, and knowing the way that he was trending as a basketball player, knowing that he's pretty good, that they were going to always set this in motion, that if there was an opportunity, he had to do his 1 year in college, that was always going to be the case as long as they had a chance to get him. So nothing about, yesterday, nothing about these last 48 hours was surprising. So when it comes to a feel-good story, when maybe it all just lines up perfectly, like, oh my gosh, that just came out of nowhere. How amazing was that? How organic was that? This wasn't organic. This was something that you knew was going to happen and unfortunately for what happened with Bronny, which I think more than anything, people are happy he can actually play basketball after he had the cardiac incident. I think more than anything, you're happy that he can play, but as long as he could play college basketball, and as long as whether he averaged the 10 points that he did or 4 points, this was always going to be a thing. Yeah. So that's why I don't think it's necessarily a feel-good story. It's just like, oh, okay, now it finally happened.
I'm hoping that someone will help him. Jimmy, we might need a poll question here. Will this be the best father-son duo since the Stillers and Zoolander?
Ooh.
I think it's a valid question.
No.
You don't think so?
No, that is the ultimate power father-son combo right there.
That's why I asked the question.
That's a good question. That is a good question.
Let's get this set up.
Late last night, if your timeline on the X or the Twitter after what was going on in Atlanta needed a little cleansing, Nebraska got recruit commitment number 12 in the class of 2025.
More dudes.
Offensive lineman. He's a project dude. Brian Tapu, who is a large human being, 6'8", 3 bills and more, from Salt Lake City, who had committed, who Nebraska thought they were getting, and then he went to Oregon State and made an emotional decision with a family connection, committed to Oregon State, decommitted, and now has committed to Nebraska. So Nebraska has number 12, and ironically, Mike Schaefer will join us a little bit later to discuss recruiting. We can pause for a day, and the sky is falling when it comes to recruiting. Yes. They need dudes, though. They need a dude or two. But Schaefer will join us coming up at 8:30.
Here we go. Polls up.
Enjoy. Matt Verzal stops by as well. That's the lineup brought to you by the Rooferees at John Higgins Weather Guard. We'll discuss anything on a free-for-all, feel-good Friday. Anything goes.
I feel like a little bit of last night's agenda.
Well, I do believe this, that probably former President Trump is a 10 handicap.
Think so, huh?
Yeah.
I mean, I know he plays a lot. I know we could all say we'd improve our handicap if we played every day. And I'm assuming
that's the takeaway here.
He's had some club pro work. He's had, he's probably worked with guys. I don't know. I've seen that swing though. I feel like there'd be a lot of worm burners in his arsenal as well.
There's nothing wrong with that.
No, there's not.
Sometimes they end up at the right place. Just keep it in the fairway.
That's true. That's true. Fairway is a good place to be, however you got there. But I've seen that. Now, on the other side, I don't know how hard Joe Biden could even swing a golf club.
I've not seen him play golf.
I never have either.
So I don't know.
I've never seen it.
I think his short game could be okay.
But
he said he was a 6 as a vice president. That's pretty good.
That's a long time ago.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. That's why we need to put more respect on the club champions. That is not easy to do.
No.
And you can't just say you're a club champion when you're not, because that's very disrespectful.
It is.
To the club champion. You might get a good parking spot. That does not mean you're a club champion.
Just because people around the actual golf club call you, hey, champ, doesn't mean you're a champion.
Yeah. Or you force them to call you champ.
Yeah. Doesn't mean you're a champion.
The made-for-TV event, we used to have the nighttime golf that would be like on ABC.
Oh, yeah.
At just an incredibly difficult golf course in the middle of the desert. And they would have lights on, and it would be Tiger and
David
Phil.
Duval.
The Tiger and Phil was like the last big one.
Yeah.
Correct?
The match.
Yeah. Tiger and Duval was the first one, because I remember watching nighttime golf.
Yeah.
I mean, this is...
And they've tried to recreate it in various ways.
This makes too much sense to put these two together, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Or have them go to Augusta National.
Why don't we just have it at like a Milts, like a par 3? I think watching those two duel it out on a par 3 course would be a lot of fun too. Pulling out driver.
Or they go to
160 out.
Or they go to Warren Swigert.
Yeah, there we go.
Just a little 9-hole.
Yeah, a little 9-hole. You don't need to do 18, guys. We get the picture after 9. I don't think we're going to need 18 of that.
Welcome to America.
That should be the next debate. Just a golf match, and then in between shots they can discuss various topics. Mic them up.
I don't know. I think I'm good.
No?
Yeah, I think I'm good. Okay.
I really am curious to see Joe Biden swing a golf club. It's like, it reminds me of like in Caddyshack, the Havoc camps. That's a peach, hon.
To be honest, if they're going to play golf,
mama, I'm hot today. That's what I imagine.
All I can think of is in the world of Warcraft, they have the best we have.
That's true.
That's it.
Yeah.
This is it.
Yep.
But you know what? Match play on TNT.
But what we have is sports, and we have college football 9 weeks from tomorrow. We also have some Neppy going on, and we'll dive into some Neppy coming up in the next segment. Again, Mike Schaefer a little bit later. Nebraska's up to commitment number 12. Big fella, a big offensive lineman that has decommitted from Oregon State and has come back to Nebraska. Weird week. Maybe Schaefer knows what happened, because he was supposed to go to Nebraska, and then he went to Oregon State, and then he committed to Oregon State. Now he's back in Nebraska. You follow that?
Yeah, I did.
All right.
Yeah.
I mean, they're kids, so they can change their mind.
Yeah.
But he is somebody that's only played 1 year of football. So be patient.
Mm-hmm.
I ask you to, America, I ask you to be patient.
We are talking about Tapu, right? We're not talking about
just in general.
Things. Okay.
Just America.
You said
be
poo.
patient. Be patient. We're strong. And I mean, we are. Okay.
And enjoy Roger Daltrey tonight.
Yeah.
You should. He's a legend.
An inhaler, Bono's son. I'm actually kind of intrigued by this.
Could Roger Daltrey play 18 holes of golf?
Rob on the Twitter didn't have this on there. I used to work at White House. Biden, back when VP could crush a ball. I didn't have that on my bingo card and responses. I just thought the whole Zoolander thing was going to get the traction, but
President Biden was a big biker. Rode his bicycle. I don't know that he does that as much anymore.
I thought you meant he was like a Harley guy.
But I do remember him playing golf.
Okay, yeah, I don't remember that.
But I don't think I've recalled lately seeing him play golf. He's been busy. You can be busy by picking up the telephone and calling the show to participate in whatever is going on today on this show. 402-951-1620. That is the hotline.
It's going to be a good day.
Brought to you by 42 Degrees The Source, by your mom's house. And if it's not by your mom's house, ask them why they haven't built one.
Yeah.
House or 42 degrees.
You can always email us into the show in the Equitable Bank inbox. Oh, I thought we were getting a negative email here from Chris.
Doug stopped in yesterday, by the way.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Instead, Chris would like some business prospecting for NRG Media Omaha. Don't be like Chris in the Equitable Bank inbox where they take banking personally. Gary at 1620thezone.com.
Handley at 1620thezone.com.
Also on the JTech Construction Zone Twitter feed.
Where today? Today's the day.
Nope, I'm not saying anything. You tell everybody what's going on today in Lincoln with JTech Construction, our good partner.
All right. So as we know, Herbie Husker is extremely popular. Extremely popular.
Sex symbol. For
maybe the best iteration.
Like the debate last night, you probably should have cut off my mic there.
I'm just saying. There is a big event going on today in Lincoln from our good friends at JTech Construction Solar. You can have your picture with Herbie Husker. It is Herbie Husker Picture Day. It'll be going on at their Lincoln location, 6200 Havelock. It's going on from 3 to 5 o'clock. Their professional photographer will be on hand to ensure you get a fantastic Herbie keepsake, free admission, and photos. And no RSVP is required. Just show up and have fun. 3 to 5 today at JTech Construction. Meet Herbie, shake his hand, point at him. He'll point at you.
Ask him what you want for football season.
Ask why his overalls aren't a little bit more lighter blue. We had this discussion yesterday that the lighter blue ones maybe symbolizes more real rural as opposed to maybe being a little bit bougie.
You know what? Here's the bottom line.
3 to 5, by the way.
Yeah. Ask him if he's met
Open
Gary
to the public.
Sharp.
Bring your friends and family.
Bring your friends' family.
If Nebraska football does not win this year, I don't know I can last. Because all of this, I don't want to talk about mascots anymore. I don't want to talk about the tunnel walk anymore. Okay? I don't want to talk about all the other just BS stuff that has nothing to do with actually winning football games. Just win, please. All right? It's time. It's time to start winning so we don't have to talk about this mascot.
You don't want to
but
be
you can go
hypnotized.
get your picture taken. I'm sure the person that's inside of the costume is a wonderful person.
Yeah.
And they are dedicated to being the best Herbie Husker of all time. I just feel bad for them because they have to wear it and what it looks like.
And
because
those costumes smell.
what could have been.
They can smell, if you don't launder them consistently.
But go get yourself a picture with our good friends at JTech Construction. Which on Twitter at Gary Sharp 1620.
At Nick Handley 1620.
All right, we're off and running. When we come back, there is not only nepotism in the NBA, there is nepotism elsewhere. And the worst part of nepotism is right in our beloved sport. It's Mornings with Sharp and Handley and Jimmy on 1620 The Zone.
Mornings with Sharp and Handley on 1620 The Zone and 1620thezone.com with Gary Sharp and Nick Handley. Omaha's most listened to all sports radio station. Again and again and again. 1620 The Zone.
When it comes to concrete repair, Everlevel has some serious game. Coach Greg McDermott here to coach you on why you should choose Everlevel Concrete Repair. They've got the fundamentals to fix your cracked and uneven concrete, and their products will give you the best defense against future damage. It's a fraction of the price compared to replacement, and their solutions come with a long-term transferable warranty. Working with Everlevel is a slam dunk. Call Everlevel Concrete Repair today for your free inspection.
Ramona's Mexican Restaurant, previously located at 30th and Reddick and now at 30th and Willett in historic Florence, is still the way you remember it. Nachos, deep fried burritos, and those amazing cinnamon chips. Have a margarita or a cocktail. Open until 2 a.m. on Friday and Saturdays too. And try Ramona's out of this world 2.5-pound massive burger with cheese, lettuce, tomatoes, and pickles. Ramona's Mexican Restaurant. Stop in today. Follow them on Facebook for specials and news about their monthly musical bingo.
It's simple, Nebraska. Do the FAFSA.
No, it's not a new dance trend.
It's the free application for federal student aid.
That's money for college. Thousands of dollars for classes, books, and housing.
Just 10 minutes is all it takes to apply for the financial aid you need.
With fewer questions and faster fill-out time, it's simple to see how much you're qualified for.
Go ahead, Nebraska. Do the FAFSA.
Get started at dothefafsa.org.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm. If you own a timeshare, don't miss this public service announcement from Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group.
If you receive an unsolicited phone call or mail piece to discuss selling, renting, or especially canceling your timeshare, don't fall for it. If you really want out of your timeshare, hang the phone up immediately or throw that mail piece in the trash and contact your timeshare resort or Wesley Financial Group for assistance with your timeshare. As the only Inc. 500 timeshare cancellation company, our knowledge, experience, and results has made Wesley a trusted resource for over 40,000 families we've helped get out of their timeshare. Give us a call and I'll send you our timeshare exit information kit free with the straight facts about your timeshare and all of your options for cancellation.
Call for your free info kit, 800-893-2288, 800-893-2288, 800-893-2288.
A Nebraska craft beers and ciders important to you? Whether you just love Nebraska brewed beers and ciders or you're a full-fledged craft brewery, there are benefits to membership for anyone with the Nebraska Craft Brewers Guild. Their sole mission is to foster and help grow the Nebraska-centric brewing community. Become a member today at nebraska.beer and help advance the craft beer and cider industry in the state of Nebraska. Find out more about the Nebraska Craft Brewers Guild at nebraska.beer.
Funplex asked an AI assistant where you find ultimate summer fun. And, well...
Funplex. Nebraska's largest water park and rides, now with the brand new spinning, tilting Wipeout. Tasty treats, special events, private cabanas, and more. Probability of unforgettable fun, 100%. Funplex is the best choice for an all-in-one day of summer excitement.
So, see you at Funplex then?
I am a language model.
Yeah, fair enough. Get your human tickets at fun-plex.com. Let's go!
That's the sound of steak searing in its juices on your new pellet grill. You heard that right. The Weber Searwood Pellet Grill can smoke low and slow at 180 degrees all the way to a high heat sear at 600. With the Weber Searwood, you can cook on the direct flame over the full grate sear zone. You'll hear the gasp of amazement from friends and family when you serve the food. Cooking with the Weber Searwood Pellet Grill just sounds delicious and tastes even better.
Getting quality employees to fill positions in your company is essential, but finding those people can be a major hassle, unless you use ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter makes finding quality people a breeze. And right now you can try it for free at ziprecruiter.com/radio. With ZipRecruiter, one click sends your job to hundreds of top job sites. But more than that, ZipRecruiter's advanced technology identifies the candidates with the skills you need, sends you a list of great matches to review, then actively invites them to apply for your job. And the results speak for themselves. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. That's right, the first day. Now you can focus on your business and let ZipRecruiter do the work finding the best people for you. See for yourself. Experience the ease, efficiency, and power of ZipRecruiter for free. Just go to ziprecruiter.com/radio. That's ziprecruiter.com/radio. ziprecruiter.com/radio.
Mornings with Sharp and Handley on 1620 The Zone and 1620thezone.com with Gary Sharp and Nick Handley.
So I know if we are ESPN, the talking head shows today, it's supposed to all be about LeBron's son. And that's kind of what the draft was. Thank God for Baylor Shire. Going 30th to the Boston Celtics. Locally, we have an interest. But I think people are missing the biggest story of the two-day NBA draft. I'm hoping that the NBA never has a two-day draft again, that you have it in the middle of the afternoon in the Get Up studio.
Agreed on that part.
Their production was
embarrassing.
It was kind of old Major League Baseball draft-esque in the old TV studio before they evolved too. Yeah.
This is the greatest hot take of the day that you will hear on this radio station, bar none. I don't care even if the Off the Rails After Hours is on tonight.
And I believe the sports. Well, I don't know.
Does the sports schedule allow today?
The NFL draft coverage and production is greater than the NBA draft coverage and production.
Geez.
You will not find until 8
on.
o'clock tonight, when Jimmy and John sign off, you will not hear a better hot take than that one right there.
That's a lot to chew on.
But here's the story of the 2-day of the NBA draft that I think is a better and bigger story and more interesting than LeBron James' son. At what point during the show today would you guys like to talk about Kyle Filipowski?
I mean, let's go. Let's talk about Kyle Filipowski. What did I miss? What did I miss with Kyle Filipowski?
I'm here to enjoy the conversation about Kyle Filipowski.
You guys are not aware of his backstory?
Not so much.
No, all I heard was Bronny this, Bronny that.
So Kyle Filipowski is getting groomed into the Mormon culture. He hasn't talked to his family.
Oh.
His girlfriend is 30 years old.
Oh.
She is Mormon. And ironically, he got drafted by the Utah Jazz.
Yeah.
The jokes write themselves even before all that stuff.
Yeah. So it was mentioned briefly when he was drafted. His brother and his mom have come out and they have said that his girlfriend is grooming him into the Mormon culture and has cut him off from their family.
Oh.
Damn.
Ooh.
So that's the story to me. How come we're not talking about that? The fact that Kyle Filipowski from Duke went to his high school prom with his now girlfriend, who was a master's student in college at the time.
Nice.
That's the story. I know that we want to talk about nepotism and LeBron, and that sells sneakers and stuff.
Worth the 8 kids.
I want to talk about Kyle Filipowski.
So would she have been like 25, 26 years old?
This
when
is
he
like
went to
Girl Next
prom?
Door.
Yeah.
Dude, this story is so bizarre. Stop talking about Bronny and let's talk about groomed by your older Mormon girlfriend who was originally your babysitter.
Oh.
And then your girlfriend made you write a goodbye letter to break up with your family.
Yeah, apparently.
And you're
he's been
7
brainwashed.
foot tall and you're gifted. But now you're brainwashed. That's the story of the NBA draft.
Man, the juice must be worth the squeeze.
I have so many questions about this. I have so many questions. So, are you serious? Was she really his babysitter?
Yes.
Yeah.
And
Oh
so
my
now
gosh.
there's another story out there this morning. I can't get enough of this. You guys want to talk about Bronny. I want to talk about Filipowski. The fact that he's being groomed into the Mormon culture. He got drafted by the Jazz. He got drafted by Utah.
So she has pull into the Mormon community and the actual Utah Jazz organization.
She
Like,
is 7 years.
pull.
She's 7 years older than him. And people are trying to connect dots. They might be cousins.
Oh, this is awesome.
What's going on?
Is that why he slid in the draft?
I mean, what
She's Rich Paul.
Like-
She blackballed other teams if they take him. It had to be Utah.
he and look at, you remember he was in the audience on night one.
Yes, he was.
He might be the first guy to ever fall in the draft because he got groomed.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So I remember seeing the picture of her. Okay, that's
Is it
why
worth
that
it?
was a thing. Yeah.
Okay,
I mean-
that's not a glowing endorsement.
Yeah, like no, yeah, she's fine.
Okay.
Oh, I don't. I'm sure she does appear to be very attractive.
Yeah, she is.
That's not the story.
No.
Let's just recap here.
Yeah, I disown my family.
Kyle Filipowski's girlfriend used to babysit him when he was a kid. Upon. She also went to his senior prom when she was 23.
Yeah.
Now,
that's awesome.
His brother says that he's being groomed by the Mormons, and that because of her, he has cut off his own family. Now, how does that not? Now, it makes sense why maybe Utah would draft him, but that had to come up like in some interviews, right?
I would think so, yes.
Because he did fall.
Yeah.
I mean, he got invited. He was there. He was there on Wednesday night. That's the story of the NBA draft. I think we're missing the boat here. 4 hours, you're going to talk about Bronny James. I want to talk about Kyle Filipowski, and I don't know whether to go, you're at your prom and you got a date that's 23, or go,
what's going on here?
Hello.
Have you seen the Hawk Tua video?
Did she begin to get him under?
By the way, that was
thumb?
a prop bet last night.
The Hawk Tua?
With somebody mentioned that on the debate. You could have gotten. You
could have gambled.
There was a prop bet out there if that would come up.
By the way, did you wager? I don't want to lose this Kyle Filipowski thing because this is wow.
I'm pretty sure that there would only been one of the two that were on stage last night that would have known or gone there.
Well, yeah, obviously.
Yeah.
I did. Did you wager on any elements of the debate last night?
No.
Okay.
I wagered that it was going to be a rough night for both sides, and it was.
So I don't know if any of you guys dated a younger girl, like when you went to college. So my high school sweetheart, she was a year younger than me, and I had other friends that were in a similar boat where they had their girlfriend was a year or two younger than them. So by the time you got to college, they were either a junior or a senior in high school. And they always ask the same question at homecoming and prom, like, will you be my date? And you would say, no. There was always that unspoken thing of once you graduated from high school, even if you had at the time, the love of your life, you wouldn't do that. So at 20, I mean, we're talking about still you're 19 years old and you're declining that request because you're like, I'm a little too old for that. I'm past that. You're 23 and you're like, yeah, let's go to homecoming. Let's go to prom. I'm just trying to imagine how, if I was in Kyle Filipowski's class, how I would respond. Because again, very attractive, but I feel like the guys would be like, that's pretty cool. I think everyone else would be like what you said. What the hell's going on here? Even if the guy is just like, damn, you're the man. She's not going to go to prom or homecoming with you either. Like, that's not happening. There's just a lot about this. And the fact that then you find out, if you ask, okay, so, tell me about your girlfriend. I don't know how much Kyle Filipowski would probably have admitted, oh yeah, she actually used to be my babysitter. Because again, I'm so conflicted on, is that cool or is that creepy?
No, I think that's why he fell. NBA draft interviews, and they do a good job of vetting and and this is a well-documented story apparently at Duke, that this is well known. I wouldn't be surprised this is why he fell. Is if you're an NBA exec and you're like, okay, let's just recap here, Kyle, for a moment. Your family is on social media stating that you were groomed by your Mormon girlfriend and you're no longer in contact with your family. I get it, Aaron Rodgers. But you're 20, your girlfriend graduated from Alabama in 2018. She's 8 years older. You started dating when you were in high school. She was your babysitter. Okay, now it all makes sense. The Utah Jazz of all teams drafted him yesterday. This is a wild story. This is a better story than Bronny James.
100%.
By far, TNT would have been all over this.
Yeah, because I think you're right. If you can be influenced by your girlfriend to essentially cut off all ties to your family, which by all accounts, he's got a couple brothers. It's a family that seems to, at least from what I'm reading on their account, now this is kind of almost like Aaron Rodgers-esque. You heard more about the family than you do Aaron Rodgers talking about his family, but it does show not having that ability to make decisions on your own, not being able to make grown man decisions, which I would think would be a red flag. If I'm going to invest a lot of money into you to help my organization, I would consider that a red flag, yes.
So there's a couple of Equitable Bank inbox now. Paul, apparently, we are very popular with the Latter-day Saints crowd.
Good morning.
Hello.
Bill says, Gary, this is not that wild. It's just uncommon. She is a huge catch. He is super happy. His family just doesn't like her for being older and Mormon. My family went through something similar, and my brother is extremely happy. I have a lot of Mormon cousins, 20 years old, and they are good people.
I don't think any of us are saying they're not good people.
I also think she's a catch, so nobody's debating that.
Yeah, Kevin says she could make a lot of men Mormon, and he simply says, have you seen her?
Tell me, have you seen her?
Now, Ed says, Ed's being adult here in this discussion. He said, was she dating a minor? He goes, is my mind messed up? Wasn't she dating a minor?
Yeah, I mean, yeah. If they were dating even before like his senior year, then yes. Yes, she was.
Wayne says, roll Tide.
Indeed.
Yes, by the way, she is Bama. She graduated from Alabama.
Man, we need Brent Musburger on this.
A little follow-up here. When people join the church, they do not cut off their family. I've seen hundreds of these scenarios, and 100%, if they are not talking to their family, it is the family who cut him off for getting baptized. Two-way street there, folks. Okay.
So we need to hear Kyle's side of this, is what you're telling me. That's fair. Could be two sides to every story.
Hey, Kyle, blink twice. All right, update with Jimmy's coming up here in a little bit.
More with Gary and Nick after this on 1620 The Zone. Live from the Host Coffee Studio, this is 1620 The Zone. 1620 The Zone. Traffic.
From the Pyramid Roof and Time Saving Traffic Center. There's a crash reported on the right shoulder of northbound Highway 75 just before the Cumming Street exit. Other than that, there's a few road closures due to the Missouri River flooding. You won't be able to take I-680 in both directions between exit 13 in Omaha and I-29 in Council Bluffs. Same thing applies with I-29 between I-480 and I-880. Otherwise, traffic flow is smooth sailing. Hope you have a fantastic weekend. Just be sure to buckle up and drive safe out there. I'm Joey Colbert.
Time-saving traffic is brought to you by Pyramid Roofing.
If you've seen the white trucks with Rufus the Spotted Dog, then you know about Pyramid Roofing. Replace your siding, windows, roof, or gutters. Call Pyramid Roofing at 402-502-9300 or visit PyramidRoof.com. Never settle for less.
Some people just know the best rate for you is a rate based on you with Allstate. And look at you, hands perfectly placed on the wheel. Not like the driver to the right of you who's really going after that drum solo. Save with DriveWise in the Allstate app and only pay a rate based on you.
Not available in every state, subject to terms and conditions. Rating factors and savings vary, and in some states your rate could increase with high-risk driving. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
Twisted Thunder Fireworks is going to save you big money. You'll find the best variety and the lowest prices in the entire state of Nebraska. Don't believe us? See page after page of products and pricing online at twistedthunder.com, where you can watch everything before you buy and choose local pickup so it's ready to go for you at the tent. Go to twistedthunder.com to check out all of our locations in Nebraska, as well as our location in Council Bluffs. That's twistedthunder.com.
I'm Bridget Condon with NFL Network Now on the Westwood One Radio Network. According to NFL Network insider Tom Pelissero, 49ers wide receiver Brandon Ayuk and the team had a, quote, good meeting in regards to working toward an extension. Ayuk is due $14.1 million in his base salary this year in the final season of his rookie first-round contract. Staying in the NFC West, Rams receiver Puka Nacua set a rookie record with over 1,400 receiving yards last season. So what's next? His position coach Eric Yarber told ESPN, quote, he's lost so much body fat and gained so much lean muscle, which enabled him to move more efficiently now. During an appearance on The Insiders, new Commanders running back Austin Eckler wanted to clear things up, saying, quote, you're going to get the best version of myself. He went on to say, quote, there's been this controversy out there, like, oh, Austin said he doesn't want 300 carries because that's what the Chargers said. I've never had that many carries ever. This has been NFL Network Now on the Westwood One Radio Network.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm. If you own a timeshare, don't miss this public service announcement from Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group.
If you receive an unsolicited phone call or mail piece to discuss selling, renting, or especially canceling your timeshare, don't fall for it. If you really want out of your timeshare, hang the phone up immediately or throw that mail piece in the trash and contact your timeshare resort or Wesley Financial Group for assistance with your timeshare. As the only Inc. 500 timeshare cancellation company, our knowledge, experience, and results has made Wesley a trusted resource for over 40,000 families we've helped get out of their timeshare. Give us a call and I'll send you our timeshare exit information kit free with the straight facts about your timeshare and all of your options for cancellation.
Call for your free info kit, 800-761-0000, 800-761-0000, 800-761-0000.
The Zone Inbox is brought to you by Equitable Bank. We take banking personally. Email me, Connor Happer, with the Connor Happer Show at Connor, CONNOR, at 1620thezone.com. Send me your love, your hate, and maybe a few hot takes. The Zone Inbox, presented by Equitable Bank.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online at hims.com/radio. Through HIMS, you'll get a free medical consultation to determine the ED medication that's best for you, discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and a range of treatment options, including trusted generic alternatives to the name brands, at up to 95% off. ED is personal, and at HIMS, so is treating it. Just go to hims.com/radio and get connected to a licensed medical provider online for free, with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, hims.com/radio. That's hims.com/radio for your free online visit. HIMS.com/RADIO.
Tickets for less. Best seats, best prices, no service fees. Shop ticketsforless.com. KOZN Bellevue, Omaha, Council Bluffs. This is 1620 The Zone. And we're back. Mornings with Sharp and Handley. Here's Gary, Nick, and Jimmy on 1620 The Zone.
Baylor Shireman is joining this year's NBA championship team, and Trey Alexander is joining last year's championship team as he signs a two-way contract with your Denver Nuggets. He's joining the illustrious history of the Nuggets franchise. Dikembe Mutombo could not be reached for comment. The Creighton men's basketball team, you know them. These two guys played on it. Will play 7 home games, not all at one time. That'd be a lot of basketball. 3 games at the Players Era Festival in Las Vegas. That's the new tournament. And they face a return trip to Alabama to take on the Fighting Elephants as part of its non-conference schedule. Announced yesterday, highlighting the schedule, is the Big 12 Big East battle against Kansas. It's December 4th. It'll mark the 9th time Creighton has played KU in Omaha for the first time since 1951, and it was not on the zone. KU is listed as a top-ranked team in the early preseason. Oh, I mean, you know that. They're always good. They'll be there. They're one spot ahead of Alabama. Who cares? Creighton will open the regular season with 5 consecutive home games starting November 6th with UT Rio Grande Valley. And the homestand continues with Fairleigh Dickinson, both of them, and then Houston Christian, and followed by UMKC before wrapping up with a November 22nd game against Nebraska. The Storm Chasers dropped the second of a 6-game series against Columbus, falling 8-3 yesterday on the road. They'll continue the series against the Clippers, not the LA ones, today. The doubleheader, first pitch, 4:05, Game 2, 30 minutes after Game 1. The NFL takes it in the shorts. The jury in U.S. District Court ordered the league to pay more than $4.7 billion in damages yesterday after a ruling that the league violated antitrust laws in distributing out-of-market Sunday afternoon games on a premium subscription service. So many big words. The jury awarded the money to the residential class and $96 million in damages to the commercial class. Where can I get involved in this and get some of that? Since damages can be tripled under federal antitrust laws, the NFL could end up being liable for $14.39 billion. The lawsuit covered 2.4 million residential subscribers and 48,000 businesses in the U.S. who paid for the package. This is NFL Sunday Ticket, by the way. Out-of-market games from 2011 to 2022. On DirecTV, the lawsuit claimed the league broke antitrust laws by selling its package at an inflated price. You don't say. The subscribers also say the league restricted competition by offering Sunday Ticket only on a satellite provider. They said they'll appeal the verdict. You don't say. Missouri Governor Mike Parson said yesterday he expects the state to put together an aid plan by the end of the year to try to keep the Chiefs and Royals from being lured across state lines to new stadiums in the wonderful and free state of Kansas. Missouri renewed efforts come after Kansas approved a plan last week that would finance up to 70% of the cost to new stadiums for the football and baseball teams. The Chiefs and Royals have played for over 50 years in side-by-side stadiums built in eastern Kansas City. Their stadium leases run until 2031, but Royals owner John Sherman said the team won't play at Kauffman beyond the 2030 season, expressing preference for a new downtown stadium that could make rich guys even more rich. You know that's really why. Question about the team's future intensified in Jackson County in April when they rejected a sales tax that would have helped fund more than $2 billion downtown ballpark district for the Royals and an $800 million renovation of Arrowhead. Finally, let's end on something positive. Well, not for you, Nick. Kyle Isbell and Michael Garcia, if you don't know who they are, you will soon, hit back-to-back triples to start a sixth-inning rally as Vinny Pasquantino delivered the go-ahead sacrifice fly that sent the Royals to a 2-1 win over the Guardians last night at the K. And I'm sure Jake had the post-game 2 minutes after. Had the totals and everything. Sam Long earns the win in relief, wiggling his way out of Michael Waka's jam of the sixth and then retiring the side of the seventh. John Schreiber, not Schreiner, handled the eighth before James MacArthur worked a perfect ninth for his 14th save. Royals are 8 games behind Cleveland, but can make up some ground during this 4-game series. They play again tonight. Nick and Connor will fight later on The Zone. Naming dudes.
Jake was TV last night. Jake and Rex were together.
See, I haven't been able to watch them on TV in years.
Get to know Sam Long. So he struck out 4 of the 6 guys he faced. He got Quan when the bases were loaded, and then turned around in the 7th and struck out Ramirez. How about, did you watch the entire game?
Yeah.
So how about the ball that Bobby Witt Jr. hit his first time up?
The one that he just hit an absolute piss missile to the left. Yeah.
So it was 117 off the bat. That's the hardest ball that Bobby Witt Jr. has ever hit in the majors.
Yeah. He's good. Yeah. The things he does, especially, I've talked about this before with certain people, and this has been more at the high school level in my experience, but there's just certain people with the way that the ball comes off their bat, and you're like, damn. And yeah, that was, I thought that was going to drop in for a base hit, and it's just like, oh, right there. Okay. But yeah, that was a tough one last night, especially you had the bases loaded situation that you mentioned, Jimmy, but also when they got runners at second and third with nobody out. And I still look at that as a bases loaded situation with nobody out. If you need to get more than one run out of that.
Saw the Astros do that in game 3 against the Braves.
My problem was there was a very, 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 very low strike zone last night. It was embarrassingly low. And it was for both teams. There was one moment in the broadcast where I think Kugler said they might have to check the ball for dirt on that last strike because it was picking some gravel a few times where I give both teams credit. They would look back, they would just maybe give it a little bit of a really, and then they just kind of kept on moving. Now, the only thing that actually was of some type of debate was the running outside the line there on third.
Where you could, if you would have run him over, it would have been interference.
Right?
Yeah. Jackson Day tomorrow, by the way.
But I was surprised that out of all everything with that strike zone, that was the one thing that actually got an ejection there. So,
one fun thing about Trey Alexander, who getting picked up by Denver as an undrafted free agent. Well, so one of the players that he has kind of like studied and a little bit emulated his game is Jamal Murray.
I was just going to say.
So you're going to go to training camp. You're going to be around Jamal Murray, who just got paid. Yeah, you'd like to be drafted, and maybe Trey last year gets drafted higher if he stays in the draft. But your best avenue to get on a roster and an organization that'll at least pay attention to you and develop you and won't throw you to the G League and let you, just ignore you is probably Denver. So I hope it works out for Trey. Summer League's going to be fun. I know it'll be all about Bronny. Should be about Filipowski. But
yeah,
the Summer League will be exciting. It starts July 12th. And ESPN has the Lakers that night, and they've already said they're doing a pregame show.
Shocker. Of course they are.
Bruce writes in about Filipowski. He says, how long before this becomes a Hallmark Christmas movie? Caitlin and Kyle's Family Christmas. A former Duke basketball star and NBA hopeful falls for, can't say that, and drama ensues. It's 4 letters, starts with an M, ends with an F. Does Bronny have to step in and save his friend? Will his family have an intervention? Will Caitlin destroy his future? Tune in and watch. If I could like publicly a email, that's a great.
This is good. It's a good idea too, especially with now that we know that there's some more in the hopper when it comes to Hallmark movies.
I would
involving
watch
your
this.
Kansas City Chiefs.
They're looking for extras. You better believe that I'm going to be trying to be an extra in the Kansas City Chiefs Hallmark movie.
What role would you want to be?
Well, I'm not really sure what the storyline is.
Be in.
I could probably.
I can tell you.
I could probably fill in for Mahomes.
Well, try this one on for size. See if this one interests you. So, what I remember seeing is it is about a lady who is a part of a family that they're like the big super fans of Kansas City Chiefs, and the guy, because you always have to have that.
Is the
romance.
Casey Wolf bank robber?
No, although that would have been good. He is a part of the organization that is tasked with finding and being able to award the best fans of the year. And of course, he's tipped off that there's this family that have been season ticket holders for years, and they are just diehard Chiefs fans. And somehow their paths cross. And then you know what happens then.
I like Bruce's idea, the Filipowski.
That's
Hallmark,
great. Yeah, it's much better than that one. When I read what the premise is for this Chiefs Hallmark movie, I thought, wow, that's not a stretch.
I want the Lynn Elliott story on a Hallmark movie. How did he bounce back?
So, I mean, you have experience in front offices. Maybe you could be part of the Kansas City Chiefs front office in this Hallmark movie. You know some people over there.
Veach's right-hand man, or the voice of reason at the table that just says, I wouldn't pick him.
Well, they always cast people that have not even the same name, but it's like, okay, this is supposed to be the GM, or this is supposed to be the director of player development. Like, Gary, you could be the GM in this movie.
Yeah.
No? Okay. This plot doesn't do anything for
Meets
you?
Andy for a burger and just talks about stuff.
Yeah, and Andy's like only 160 pounds.
Scott says, bear with me, Gary. I've thought about the holiday touchdown, a Chiefs love story for a bit here, and I've already cast people.
Okay.
Nice.
He has Jason Kelsey as Travis Kelsey.
Yeah, because he can't play himself.
They're related. Yeah.
Hawk Tua Girl is Taylor Swift.
Winner.
Jake from State Farm is Patrick Mahomes. Shane Gillis is Andy Reid. Andy Reid is Santa Claus. And Teen Wolf Michael J. Fox as Chiefsaholic.
Oh, boy. I think this is a winner.
Cameo by Christopher Walken, just as a fan.
Yeah, just because he could be one of the big
I live
fans.
in Independence.
How have we gone this long without putting
Summit.
Shane Gillis and Andy Reid together?
It's had to have happened at some point, right? There's no way.
Where Shane Gillis goes, those nuggies? Thanks, Jimmy. So the part of yesterday's draft, I hope now I've persuaded people that the bigger story is the guy from Duke, not the guy that is going to get to go play with his dad. But there is nepotism. How about Woj? Woj got really aggressive about nepotism.
Yeah, I thought he was going to cry.
We know that nepotism exists. I to this day, I hold it against my dad that he did not make enough scratch to buy the Cubs to make me the play-by-play guy.
Yeah,
it comes up at Christmas.
Oh yeah, same with my dad and the Spurs.
I mean, if it and actually, I could be really angry at my dad.
Well, he's got a baseball pull. He was a scout.
He should be upset. Well, I shouldn't say that nepotism. I've been the benefit of nepotism. I probably would not have gotten a job with the Twins if my dad and Terry Ryan, who was the general manager of the Minnesota Twins at the time that I started working for him, if they did not know each other. Okay. So I have benefited from nepotism.
Doesn't mean you have to like it.
Wait a minute. No. Wait a minute. That's not really nepotism. Well, yeah, it is nepotism. Okay. I was trying to think, could I work my way around it? I don't want to be looped in with Bronny.
It's not direct nepotism.
Okay.
Yeah.
So and nepotism exists, right? Have you guys benefited from nepotism?
In various aspects. Now, this is kind of weird because we're talking about a story that has to do with religion. But my mom was a very well-respected
Mormon.
Not a Mormon, no.
Why not?
But
nice people.
Just wasn't her path. She was a longtime, I guess you'd say, executive secretary at a church in Omaha. So when it came to anything that at this Presbyterian church that we would do, we always got, a little bit more for certain camps and stuff. And, we would get special treatment probably just because our mom was who she was.
Jimmy, did you ever benefit from nepotism?
I can't say that I did. I wish I did, but I don't really know what I would get.
Jimmy has reverse nepotism in this building.
Yeah.
Because Jimmy worked here. His wife got hired.
Yeah,
which is
true.
ironic because people think I had something to do with it. I was like, no, most people don't even know I work here. So
Ding! It only took till 7:12 this morning.
What do you say? Give 0 Fs. I just tell the truth.
But in college football, we definitely have had nepotism.
Mm-hmm.
Could I convince you that the nepotism that went on in Iowa City was not the worst nepotism in college football?
I would be open to that. Yes. Where would you like to go with that one?
Well, you have some that are on your mind.
I'm trying to think here. Are we talking about? Okay, go
because
ahead.
Kirk didn't do Brian a favor, making him the OC.
Well,
Brian. Look at Iowa's offensive line.
Yeah.
When Brian Ferentz went to be OC, their offensive line was not like it used to be. And I think Brian Ferentz is a really, really good offensive line coach. Maybe so much that if Nebraska had an opening for an offensive line coach, Brian Ferentz at Nebraska would at least get an interview.
Yeah.
But he was a really good offensive line coach. Dad moves him to OC, and the rest is history. And there is no longer nepotism allowed in Iowa City.
That's an interesting way of looking at that. Yeah, because then all of a sudden he doesn't report directly to. Yeah.
In me, that's not the worst part of nepotism that derailed the program. And didn't derail Iowa. They still are an 8-win team. But there are two other things.
Yeah,
I'm trying to guess before you say it.
They're two major programs.
And
I know one kind of, but it might not be what you're talking about.
No, go ahead.
The whole mess with Bill and Sean Snyder what kind of helped to usher in Bill's retirement. It didn't happen, but it was from people that told me down there. It was pretty contentious.
Remember when Sean Snyder was going to be a special team guy here?
Jonathan Rutledge. Yeah. We just brought him up yesterday too. That was that whole thing. I do remember that.
That's right.
That's my one guess.
That was that was a contentious thing at the end of the Bill Snyder Part 2 era.
Yeah.
That he wanted to hand the reins over to his son.
Mm-hmm. Played a part in Sean going to KU last year.
God, I feel like there's these are obvious too, and I totally drawn a blank.
Both dads have passed away.
Oh, Joe and Scott Paterno?
Jay.
I'm sorry, Jay Paterno. Yeah.
Joe Paterno.
Yep.
And his son, who Google his football background before he showed up at Penn State.
Yeah.
It's going to be very limited.
Tecmo Bowl.
But
electric football.
Jay Paterno kept getting promoted at Penn State and had what did he do?
So before he was at Penn State, he was a grad assistant at Virginia from 90 to 92. Then he was a wide receiver tight ends coach at UConn 93, quarterback coach 94 at James Madison. Then he was at Penn State, tight end recruiting coordinator, and then the quarterbacks coach from 99 to 2011.
I don't know. Someone told me one time that Jay Paterno Never played high school football. Does it say it on his Wikipedia page?
It's listed that he did play, and he was actually a walk-on at Penn State as a quarterback.
Okay.
Gee, I wonder how he got that.
Right.
How did he get in there? It's a good.
But that's a great.
Yes.
That's a great case in college football of nepotism, where, like, they didn't get better at that position, but Jay kept his job. But I think the worst example of nepotism that actually set a program back, Jeff Bowden. Bobby Bowden.
I wondered if that's
hired Jeff Bowden. Jeff Bowden and Chris Ricks were a combo. That was a disaster for Florida State. And despite cries that Bobby needs to fire his son because his son was killing Florida State, he didn't.
Which led to Jimbo, finally.
Yeah. Jeff Bowden and led to kind of the
end.
Yeah, the flickering the light going out at
Where he
Florida
became the
State
figurehead,
because Bobby had Jeff on his staff as the OC, and it was brutal.
Yeah.
I mean, he wasn't a very good football coach, and Florida State's offense was like non-existent. That would be the worst part in college football of nepotism, in my opinion. And Paterno and Jay would be second. Ferentz, I would probably make that third.
I wouldn't go back on the Ferentz one because I think it's a fair point you bring up about didn't necessarily do him a favor by taking him off the offensive line because, I mean, you're right. Brian Ferentz was a guy that could get, I mean, hell, he had NFL coaching jobs. And I think to an extent, especially in the professional level, he's still considered a very good offensive line coach. You put him in the OC position, you think you're promoting him, and he's going to be able to execute a lot of what your offensive philosophy is if you're Kirk Ferentz. The part that I do think, okay, here's where maybe the nepotism kicks in, is even though he couldn't directly report to Kirk Ferentz anymore, he had to report to the athletic director and Gary Barta. Wouldn't you say it was Kirk Ferentz's relationship with Gary Barta and his influence with the program itself, though, that probably gave Brian Ferentz way more the benefit of the doubt when it came to those matters, even though he wasn't reporting directly to him? Like, that's where I would say that the nepotism kicks in, because I think you're right. I think indirectly he didn't do him a favor, but I think the fact that they were able to continue to stick with Brian Ferentz as the OC, I think there was always that relationship that Kirk and Gary Barta had where, yeah, technically he reports to me, but I also care a lot about Kirk Ferentz, and I want to make sure that I'm doing right by him. That's where I would say there's your nepotism.
Kirk Ferentz runs Iowa athletics until
gone.
Beth showed up.
Yeah, right.
So that's where it kind of ended. Look, she comes in as an interim AD, and what's one of the first things she does?
Yeah, you got
they're in a got-to-go situation.
Yeah.
A couple of people have brought up Urban Meyer's son-in-law, Corey Dennis, who is not at Ohio State anymore. So he was there for a while. And then he went to Ole Miss. I think he's at Tulsa now. He was at Ohio. I mean, that's Urban Meyer put him on the staff at Ohio State because he was there for nearly a decade.
Was it? But I'm trying to even remember though. Was he a detriment? Like that's where I think of these situations of if they are brought in and they didn't necessarily earn the position, did they completely submarine that position or at least create some setbacks, or were they able to get by? Were they okay? Because I'm trying to was it Zach Smith's, was it his
podcast?
Everyone
who was his big tie? It was a big Ohio State. Great. Now I'm totally forgetting. It was his
Archie Griffin,
Pepe Pearson.
Was it his like grandfather or something?
Earl Bruce.
Yes, thank you. Who the heck was it? No, yeah, his grandfather's Earl Bruce.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, it's true. It was Earl Bruce.
I was just throwing that out.
No, you're right. It actually was.
He does look kind of like looked kind of like a grandpa.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
his grandfather was Earl Bruce.
It was Earl Bruce. I mean, that one you could also probably, I would put that one more, even though it's not Urban's call, there's probably some influence of, hey, this is Earl Bruce's grandson. And we saw how truly awful that went. I mean, that in a way, I mean, wouldn't you consider that nepotism? Because I mean, that's a relationship right there. That's family relationship right there.
I was going to say Jim Carsados, but whatever. Couldn't beat Harbaugh.
I wonder how. So his son-in-law, who's now at Tulsa, at Ohio State, they didn't. His contract expired, so he was the quarterback coach. So they just let it expire.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't make an attempt to renew him and let him be a free agent where he went to Ole Miss and then now at Tulsa. Wonder if that did anything between Ryan Day and Urban Meyer.
Oh, I'm sure it did.
I mean, I'm probably reaching here.
That's why Urban's saying this is the best team he's ever had.
It wasn't like Corey Dennis had like an opportunity to go work for Lane Kiffin. He was like, "Hey, man, sorry, Ole Miss is better than Ohio State." They just simply didn't renew his contract.
It probably didn't go over well with the relationship with Urban and Ryan Day. Which, while we're on that topic for a moment, what is their relationship now? Urban Meyer and Ryan Day,
frenemies.
I think it's pretty good.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah.
Because
Urban Meyer's around Ohio State football a lot. I think if you were butting heads, you wouldn't allow somebody like that to come around, practice and sit in meetings and stuff like that.
I wouldn't think so, but if Urban is highly revered in Columbus, like I would assume with his accomplishments there at Ohio State, he would be, is that in a way sort of a buffer as well of, hey, it's almost like you keep your friends close, you keep your enemies closer. I don't want to say they're enemies, but I just, there have been things, again, recently with what he and Tressel said. Urban's a smart guy. He knows he's not doing Ryan Day any favors by saying that.
Why? I know we talked about that the other day. They've got a loaded roster.
They do. They absolutely do.
So he's not, I think he's telling the truth.
No, I don't think he's wrong, but I think he also understands when someone of his stature in the college football world says that, what you're continuing to throw overall expectations on. That as a head coach, you would think, when a fellow head coach, one that's highly respected in college football, is throwing the ultimate flowers at your team, that the only place you can go is down, where you would be maybe a little bit more modest with those. I
see where you're going here.
Like you say.
So do you think Tom Osborne was doing that to Scott Frost?
That's a good question.
That's essentially what you're describing in Ohio State happened in Lincoln.
That is true. No, that is true. And there
you go, Nick. Nick's got the hot take of the day. Tom Osborne sabotaged Scott Frost.
But Tom Osborne never said this is the best roster.
Tom Osborne does not want anybody to win a national title
but him.
He wants the last national title that Nebraska wins to be him.
So
is that essentially what you're saying? I'm just trying to get some clarification.
He never said anything.
We
about
have
the
a
roster,
show for you.
But I would say Tom Osborne, in 2016 when they were 7-0 and then they lost to Wisconsin, then he was smoking a cigar, saying, "All right, we're still good, still intact, baby."
Like the 72 Dolphins.
He never said about the Scott Frost.
So what you're
rosters.
trying to tell me is that when Nebraska football every year is officially eliminated from any playoff hopes, he has some champagne.
Yeah, he's like,
him and Nancy.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Champagne and a run.
I see where you're going there.
Yeah.
Steve
Straight
writes in. First, I must tell you in the Equitable Bank inbox. This is Gary. I am a diehard Florida State fan. He goes, let me just sum up Jeff Bowden's career at Florida State. Did you know that Jeff Bowden worked for his father or for his brother in 31 of his 34 years as a coach?
Holy hell.
The time that Jeff Bowden was running the offense at Florida State was one of the worst eras of Florida State football. If you recall, the athletic director at the time had to strike a deal with Bobby so that Jeff could step down, not get fired.
I remember.
He goes, it was rough. And I don't think, because then Jeff went and worked for either Tommy or Terry. Who's that? Who was at Akron? Terry?
Terry was. Terry Bowden.
Oh, yeah.
Terry
Terry
worked for Terry at Akron.
Yeah.
Oh, the Bowdens just, they delivered nepotism like none other.
Was he, Jeff would have been there for the the fast break offense, right? Now he wasn't the OC though.
That's
correct.
No.
Yeah, that was what the Charlie Ward. Okay, yeah, I thought.
Oh yeah, that was.
I thought he was there with that.
That might have been Friedgen.
No, he
actually.
was. So he was the wide receiver coach. He was the OC in 01.
That's right.
Sean writes in, this is a good case of nepotism. He goes, I'm actually really glad that Nebraska basketball has nepotism.
Oh, Sammy?
I saw that.
Hey, real talk here. Is Sam Hoiberg going to play much this year?
In spots, but yeah, it's a great question because of we're having a tough time even figuring out who the starting five is going to be. And yeah, it's hard to imagine that he'll get increased minutes. It'd be tough to. What would you say? The most he would have played, because I don't have it in front of me as far as the minutes that he averaged, but the most he would have played would have been probably about 25, 27 minutes in a particular game or two. I can't imagine that you're going to have those opportunities unless you get some injuries or there's some major foul issues. It's going to be tough.
Are we going to be hearing about marital problems between the Hoibergs this winter because Sam's minutes have decreased? I'm kidding. I'm very much kidding.
Talk about a hot take.
Or is he?
Oh, now there's all kinds of...
Your email's blown up?
What about the McDermotts? That seems to be nepotism. I think that's nepotism that worked out pretty well.
Yeah.
I think I would take that one.
Yeah, I think that's more of an eye for talent than anything.
Listener Greg just chiming in just for fun.
But yes.
Tim says, talk about nepotism. Have you met Mike Osborne? I have. Good, nice guy.
Yeah. Runs a t-shirt place. Not t-shirt, but fan gear. At least at one point. Is he still doing that?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
Wait, I did know about this too. Yeah, I know what you mean. I don't know the answer, but
or
he was never on the staff.
So I'll give you. We now have coaches locally that are old enough that their sons or daughters are being recruited. What if, and first of all, congratulations to a deserved contract extension for Kirsten Bernthal Booth, but her daughter is going to Northern Iowa.
Yeah.
What if her daughter would have been given a scholarship at Creighton?
I have to actually admit I was surprised that she wasn't part of that because
John Cook, nepotism.
I mean, she was a good setter.
Now, maybe it's half nepotism because she didn't start.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go. Gosh, now we're really starting to think about this. I mean, Bo's nephew, but I'm trying to think of head coaches that might have had any son or relation on any teams here locally.
Now, this is the nepotism I want. Speaking of nepotism, Ryan says, so at what point do Nick's son and Jimmy's dog get a show? I'm down.
Reese and Bailey?
Yeah.
Reese and Bailey in the mornings?
Dookie Clint says, what about the nepotism of Bo with his brother?
Was that nepotism? I mean, okay, yes, they were sort of a package deal, but I feel like that actually was okay. That worked out okay. And you felt like that was a guy who had experience before. And when he was on that 03 staff, I get it, but I don't know. And maybe I'm looking at this wrong. I'm thinking that did Carl get opportunities that he didn't deserve? And I don't know.
Well, I mean, not everybody could sleep on Bo's couch.
Well, that is true. That's a good point. I don't know if I would say that he got any opportunities that he wasn't qualified for. Now, when the defense started showing some inconsistencies, I get that one, but I don't know if I'd go as far as any of the great nepotism when it comes to college sports, especially in college football. That one I wouldn't say was, ooh, yeah, that Carl didn't deserve any of that. Now, some of Carl's off the field stuff, okay. But yeah, I think he was qualified for it.
I do too.
Yeah.
I mean, the defense was pretty well coordinated. What 08 to 11. Now, there was the connection because remember when Bo's first stint at Nebraska, when he was the DC for a year, he did bring his brother. His brother was a GA on that staff.
Yeah. And that's what I mean. Like, was maybe that more of the example with him being on that staff, or was that an opportunity for him, again, to prove himself and then be a little bit more qualified when it came back around to when Bo was the head coach?
Now, I will give you...
I don't know if I look at GA spots, too, as a huge example of nepotism, unless, well, kind of when we brought up Jay Paterno, where you kind of come out of nowhere, and then all of a sudden you're a GA, and then you're climbing that ladder of going from GA to now being in a prominent position at Penn State.
Hey, I'll give you a reverse nepotism. It's happening with the Tennessee Titans. Brian Callahan has hired his dad.
Yeah. That is.
Hell of an O-line coach.
It's smart, though.
Best offensive line coach in the NFL.
Again, it's very smart, too. I would say, that's the one where it's like, okay, maybe the optics aren't going to look great. At some point, you probably have people in your like, you're bringing your dad in, right? Because we need him.
Yeah.
He would be very, very good.
His job is to
help
win.
our offensive
He
line.
can help him.
Yeah, exactly. It's where you start like, oh, isn't that fun? He's your dad. Dad's not hiring you. You're hiring dad. Okay, but he's really good at what he does. So we can put that off to the side. Well, some good examples, though. The Jay Paterno one that you brought up earlier, that is a good call, because I always assumed, I didn't even realize that he had coaching experience at other programs. I always assumed from day one his coaching experience started at Penn State, was probably a GA, was probably a ball boy, and then climbed the ladder because he was always around Dad. But it's a good point about from the time that he was promoted to quarterback coach, that it was that long, and that position yielded very little results. You would think, all right, if you are the gatekeeper of your program and you're always looking to get better, like you're looking at positions that are not evolving. Okay, who's running that position? That would probably be a very good example of, you could have parted ways many, many years ago with Jay Paterno. That's the one that that as soon as you mention no longer with us, I thought of that. And then looking at his timeline, not realizing he had been the quarterback coach that long and very, very little results at that position too. That's a very, very good one.
And for people that are comparing the Jameses to the Griffies, that is a terrible comparison, because you'd be comparing Bronny and Ken Griffey Jr.
Yeah, that's an insult to Junior.
Yeah.
Thank you. Mike Schaefer is going to join us in an hour. It's Mornings with Sharp and Handley and Jimmy on 1620 The Zone. Hey, you can join all of us that have improved our fit, courtesy of Lindley Clothing. You know, they've got Well Suited, and it's a big celebration right now because it is their buy one, get one 50% off sale on suits and sports coats. You're thinking, it's summertime. Why would I buy a suit or a sport coat? Because you're going to need it. You got outdoor events. You got something that is nice and dressy, maybe a wedding to go to. Don't rent a suit, buy a suit. And it's never been a better time than to do that right now at Lindley Clothing, because this is what happens. Buy one suit or sport coat at regular price and get a suit or sport coat of equal or lesser value at 50% off. Trust me, guys, when we go and we're looking for fashion and we go to a place like Lindley Clothing and you're like, oh my gosh, look at all the sizes, all the selection, the styles. What am I doing? That's where you let the people at Lindley Clothing, from John, Marlene, and the entire staff, help you out, because customer service is number one. They're not just going to let you wander around the store. They're going to answer your questions, and they're going to help you find the right fit, and they're going to follow up with you. That's what they do. It's one of the best things of anybody is their customer service. And right now, they are giving it to you. So this is how it works. Buy one, get one, 50% off sale. Suits, sports coats, BOGO, 50% off sale. It's going on right now. And I mean right now. It ends, though, on July 3rd. So buy one suit or sport coat at regular price and get a suit or sport coat of equal or lesser value at 50% off at Lindley Clothing, conveniently located in the Linden Market. You'll find them at 132nd and West Dodge.
Mornings with Sharp and Handley on 1620 The Zone and 1620thezone.com. Previously on The Crossover.
It's a very baseball-y name. It's like naming your kid Mickey.
Yeah,
Freddie.
if your name Mickey Mantle, like, you're destined to be a
great baseball player.
What was his full name? Michelob?
Michelob Mantle.
What was Mickey Mantle's real name?
His name was Mickey Charles Mantle.
I think it was
Michelob.
Michelob Mantle.
Michelob Mantle.
Wow.
Mornings with Sharp and Handley, the Connor Happer Show, unsportsmanlike conduct, 6A to 6P, 1620, The Zone. Your Omaha area forecast presented by Funplex Water Park and Rides from the KETV Newswatch 7 Weather Center on 1620 The Zone.
Friday is a severe weather day with a chance for strong to severe storms in the metro, mainly between 2 and 6 p.m. All modes of severe weather in play with any stronger storms. Otherwise, expect warm, humid, and breezy conditions with highs in the mid to upper 80s. I'm meteorologist Sean Everson from KETV Newswatch 7.
1620 The Zone. Traffic.
From the Pyramid Roofing Time Saving Traffic Center, there's still a crash being attended to on the right shoulder of northbound North Freeway at Cumming. Otherwise, there's no other obstructions in the Omaha Metro besides the road closures due to the flooding from the Missouri River. You won't be able to take I-680 in both directions between exit 13 in Omaha and I-29 in Council Bluffs. The same applies with I-29 in both directions between I-480 and I-880. Everything else is smooth sailing. I'll keep you updated if any changes happen throughout the rest of the morning. Just be sure to buckle up, drive safe out there. I'm Joey Colbert.
This time-saving traffic was brought to you by the Nebraska Lottery.
Until July 30th, enter any non-winning Nebraska Lottery Wheel of Fortune scratch ticket online for a chance to win a trip to LA, tickets to a taping of Wheel of Fortune, and at least $2,000. Wheel of Fortune top prize odds 1 in 112,000.
Watching a ball game at Oscar's Pizza and Sports Grill is pretty awesome. Oscar's offers the MLB package, so your team is always on their upgraded audio-video system, and nothing is better than watching the game with a cold frosty one, Oscar's Pizza, or award-winning char-buffed wings. And with daily lunch and dinner specials, it's really a no-brainer. So get ready to watch your favorite team play ball at Oscar's Pizza and Sports Grill, 173rd and West Center Road, and takeout at 162nd and Maple.
It's easy to see the common signs of transmission trouble.
If your engine revs before it falls into gear, if it seems to switch gears for no reason, so watch for the signs. Certified transmission, the job done right at the right price.
Bellino Fireworks, a Metro tradition for more than 35 years. Bellino Fireworks has quality products for the best prices with a 100% product guarantee. More than 50 locations in the Omaha Council Bluffs area, as well as locations in Plattsmouth, Blair, and Fremont. Bellino Fireworks offers the best selection of products in the Midwest. Cakes, artillery shells, and family-friendly products for all ages. There's no need to go anywhere else. Look for their signature inflatables or Bellino flags. Visit BellinoFireworks.com for a full list of locations.
Many people go back to the dealership out of habit or because they think the dealer is the only one who knows how to fix their car. At Omaha Car Care, we offer a better option. We have ASE certified technicians, the technology to service any vehicle, and free loaner cars. The dealer will sell you a package of services. We'll provide the service you want for your car as your trusted partner. I'm Rick Betker, owner of Omaha Car Care, and we'll be along for the ride.
If you need bold banners to boost your business, but you're on a budget, think Staples. Because now at Staples, you can save up to $50 on your print purchase. From posters and flyers to signs and menus, Staples can print anything you need to move your business forward. And with Staples Print Perfect Guarantee, it's done right or it's printed again free. Plus, same-day service is available on hundreds of items if you order by noon. Get it printed right at Staples. And now get up to $50 off your print purchase. N76, visit staples.com/print for details.
Baseball and ice cream go together like fireworks in the 4th of July. I mean, on any given night during the summer, you're bound to run into a team of little leaguers getting ice cream after their game, win or lose. So before you head home after the game, head over to Ted & Wally's Ultra Premium Ice Cream and pick up your flavor. They serve more than 3,000 of them. Keep track of the daily specials on social media, celebrating more than 35 years. Ted & Wally's Ultra Premium Ice Cream. Benson, Old Market, and at tedandwallys.com.
Now back to Mornings with Sharp and Handley on 1620 The Zone.
Hey, good luck because they just teed off in the Nebraska Men's Match Play Championship, the 36-hole grind. How about the matchup of two very familiar young golfers?
Who do we got? I have not seen who we got on the plate here because
their dads have been on this radio show before.
Kyle Peterson
and Dad's a pretty good golfer. Might actually
Gutschewski.
Yeah.
All right.
Trevor and Bo are going at each other today.
They were teammates too, right?
No. Bo was Gretna.
Oh, but okay. Bo was Gretna. Okay.
And then Trevor is a senior. I think he can be a senior at Westside. He's already committed to Florida, though.
Nice. No, this wouldn't be the same thing, but I know when we've seen Danny Woodhead, Jay Moore have trying to compete at the professional level as well, too. I know this is a different event right now, too. But yeah, that's awesome. Where's that taking place at today?
Not in Omaha.
Okay.
There you go.
All right. I don't know if that was going to be here. Could be an Indian Creek or something.
No. A little bit later, I'll tell you, Trev Alberts is close to hiring a new baseball coach.
I was reading on the message boards. It said if it's not done by Friday, then you're on the clock. Trev Alberts. A lot of sense of urgency with that job, and I'm pretty confident it's not going to be Tony Vitello.
No, my bad. Bo is not related to Kyle. Bo is just Bo. Bo's going to Northern Illinois.
Oh.
But Gooch's son is Trev.
Okay.
There you go.
Okay.
But Bo is a good golfer. So are Kyle's kids.
Yeah. That I know Kyle's kids.
I'm all like the whole nepotism thing, man. Got me going. Okay. I'm just
we're looking at father-son combos.
I'm like fried. So just so this is brought up here a couple of times. My apologies. I mean, not all Petersons are spelled correctly or are related.
Sometimes no, that's true.
Peterson's a very popular name. It's like, it's just an Omaha name.
Well, you see a Peterson, he's in a good golf tournament or a high-impact golf tournament.
But regardless, they're both, under the age of 18?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Bo just graduated, so he's got to be 18. I think Trevor is 17. Trevor's got a chance, man. He's got a chance to do big things in the world of golf. But this just dawned on me. So in the nepotism discussion, is Nebraska basketball going to be the only place in the country, it has to be, where the men's basketball coach will have his son playing for him again, and the women's basketball coach will have her daughter playing for her?
Yes. There can't be other programs, right?
And that's why I asked the question.
No, there's no way. Yeah. I would say Nebraska is the only one. I feel very confident in saying that without knowing 100%. That would be extremely rare. So yes, let's just say Nebraska is the only one, and we'll put that feather in the cap for Troy Dannon in the athletic department.
Now, Kennedy's going to play two sports, right?
I don't know. There's no basketball.
I think she's going to play softball as well. Nebraska has to be the only place where the men's and women's basketball coach has their son and daughter playing for them. That's pretty cool.
That is cool.
Because then I wonder, none of us had moms that were teachers or anything like that, or fathers that were teachers, and thinking about Bronny playing with his dad on the floor, does he call him dad?
I thought that too.
Like fourth quarter, things are a tension convention,
right.
And somehow Bronny James is on the floor in a game that is still in doubt, and he gets into it. Does he say, "Shush, Dad"? Like, what is he? Because
I bet it will come out every now and then.
Hey, have you? I mean, this is how we were all kind of brought up, dude. If you referred to your dad and not dad, or called him like Walt,
yeah. Oh, that's disrespect.
You were in my house. You were in trouble. Like I would never, even to this day, like jokingly, I will call him Wally because that's what his friends call him. But I would never. I don't call up my dad and go, "Hey, Walt."
On the break, Dad.
Everything is dad.
Yeah.
Everything is dad. So it can't be LeBron.
Yeah,
has to but you're around
What'd you say?
older players.
Yep.
Dad, there's girls sitting on the baseline.
No, you mentioned that none of us had moms that were teachers, I did go to school with our English teacher. Her son was in our grade. And so we had a couple classes together, and we had that class, which we always thought, because there were multiple English classes. So we thought, maybe they'll make sure that his name was Nick as well. Maybe they'll make sure Nick is in a different English class. He would refer to her as Mrs. Squires.
See, I think when it comes to school, like I had a couple of friends who they get the opportunity that their mom was a teacher, and they had a class taught by their mom, but they were not like in their homeroom because that they didn't want to be.
Yeah.
But they would
spend enough time with your parents.
I'm pretty sure Kurt referred to he called not Mrs. Alexander. I'm pretty sure he called her mom.
Really? Yeah. And we always laughed when he would say Mrs. Squires, but because we knew that was his mom. But we also understood that because let's say you're a new student and you don't know that, or maybe you're a younger student that's in that class and you don't know that, at least right off the bat. It can be insinuated if you say, "Hey, mom," or "Mom, I got the answer," that you're all of a sudden going to focus in on any type of favoritism.
Now,
you're just naturally going to do that.
Maybe if you're younger in school, like if you're in the first or second grade, and
that's
kind of cool that your mom is your teacher.
Yeah, but this was high school.
And it's not homeschool. Like in homeschool, are you required to go, Mrs. Sharp? Not Barb?
Yeah.
Mom, meatloaf!
What is she doing back
Like
there?
when you are younger, is it okay to say mom if you're being taught? But once you get to 7th grade, and it's so awkward that your mom is the teacher, that you have to go Mrs. Handley, Mrs. Chavez.
I think you probably, as you get maybe into middle school and then older, you refer to him as Mrs. or Mr. Maybe you have a dad as well that's teaching.
But doesn't Bronny have to refer to his dad as dad? Like he can't all of a sudden say, "Man, I'm looking forward to playing with LeBron."
What?
Lived with him for all these years.
I think in press conference situations or any type of media opportunities, you're probably referring to him as dad. But in practices, is that a conversation that LeBron and Bronny have had of, "Hey, everybody else on the team, since you're my teammates, teammates refer to me as LeBron. So you're my teammate. You're not my son in this setting."
John says, when my mom was a teacher, I called her Mrs. Well, in school, I had to address her.
Yeah.
I couldn't call first of all, I would transfer if my mom was my teacher.
At some point it would slip out. At some point, even if you're like, oh, mom, I know. I mean, I'm sorry, Mrs. Sharp. Yeah. It would just naturally, that's why I think in a game, even though maybe it's understood that, LeBron would prefer Bronny to refer to him like his teammates do. You would think in the heat of the moment, in the heat of competition, that's just going to come out. You're going to say, Dad, rock right here. Dad, I'm on the break.
Man,
I mean, LeBron.
There'd be so much scrutiny. Like, hey, Dad, throw me the ball.
Yeah.
Who's your daddy?
It's him over
who
there.
will be a better? Hey, so
right there.
So again, the fact that he's played long enough and he stayed healthy to have this opportunity. There's the sentimental part where that's kind of cool, but it has been just beat down by the media. Who will be a better sports parent? LeBron or Tiger? Because Charlie is coming.
Yeah.
And both their dads are the best of the best at their respective sport, and they will be considered among some circles as the GOAT.
Yep.
But Charlie, has the look of have a long, successful professional career. But it also appears that Tiger will just drift away. Will not be front and center. Has no desire to stick around until Charlie is ready to join the tour.
Yeah. I think actually my opinion to be Tiger is going to, and for a few reasons. One, the sport itself, it's completely individualized. Even though you have a swing coach, you have a caddy, there's a small team. But when it comes down to doing the things you need to do in heated competition, you have only yourself to blame, and the only person you can lean on is your caddy.
Yeah.
Okay, you don't have 4 other guys and then a bench
That's true.
and
That's
a
good point.
coach.
Good point.
And so I think that part of Tiger's accomplishments in the sport like that, I think, gives you a lot of perspective. And then don't discredit what Tiger personally has gone through. I mean, to his own doing, yes, but he's, LeBron was never entrenched in scandal when it came to his family life, when it came to his personal life. It was more of, taking a stand on this and that, where he could be a little bit polarizing. But as far as how his family life is, he's been pretty good about that. I think, and that's a good thing. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to say that's actually going to make LeBron a worse parent when it comes to his son in this situation. I just think the life Tiger's lived, the perspective he's gained, and the appreciation of the sport when he had such tunnel vision at one point and where it led him, I just think he's learned a lot more life lessons on it. And I think, and you brought this up too, if you watch those two at events, when they do the, I'm trying to remember, they do it every year. It's like right around Christmas where it's the father-son tandem. He's been extremely jovial with Charlie. Yeah. He's more of, almost if you were in a Ryder Cup situation, he's more of his teammate as opposed to, no, you're lining that up wrong. And I'm sure there's a little bit of that takes place. But from everything I've heard with Charlie's teaching, very little of his day-to-day is dad. A lot of that is other swing coaches, other people in the business. Now, to the part of nepotism, though, where this conversation I think comes back to what we were talking about earlier, the opportunities of coaches, of people that want to work with Charlie Woods, wouldn't happen if he wasn't Charlie Woods.
Yeah.
But when it comes down to it, I think Tiger Woods is going to be the better one, just given the sport and what he's endured, what he's gone through in his career.
Regardless, I mean, considering that Bronny possibly could not be here with his heart issue, when the night that they're on the floor together, it will actually be cool.
It will.
I will say it will be cool, and I hope that people let it breathe when it happens. Because I mean, think about it as a dad. You have, like when your son or your daughter, comes to work for you. Mm-hmm. Like there is the sentimental part.
You're prideful. Yeah.
Sean says, do you think George W. had to call his dad Mr. President, or did his dad have to call his son Mr. President?
Probably didn't have to.
Didn't the younger Bush, didn't he always called him his dad?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think that was ever, hey, you need to call me the president, Mr. President.
Ed says, I've got a different take on this thing about the teacher. And he goes, I went to school with a neighborhood kid who was a good friend. 5th grade, his mom was the teacher. We happened to be in the, I guess for a better term, homeroom. Mm-hmm. I hated it because mom seemed to give preferential treatment to son. We were no longer friends after that year, had a miserable experience in 5th grade. Okay, I can see that.
Yeah.
Maybe mom's a bad teacher and she was favoring son.
So
he got all the extra credit.
I'll give, and this is a guy that I have a lot of respect for, but I didn't play at Millard West when Scott McLaughlin was the quarterback. But when Dan McLaughlin was coaching his son, and Scott was a good quarterback. I ended up playing at South Dakota. I'm sorry, Sean McLaughlin was playing, and I thought from everything when I was around Coach McLaughlin, because I'd still try to stop in and see the guys and everything. I love that coaching staff. Dan handled that about as good as you could, knowing that your son is the starting quarterback, needs to be the starting quarterback. There's nobody else on that roster that was more worthy of it, but he was hard on him. But he didn't coach him. I didn't think he coached him any different to try to put up a front of, hey, I want to send a message to the other 50 guys that I'm not going to give my son preferential treatment. So sometimes I think if you subconsciously are thinking that, you go the other way with your kid, whether it's your son or your daughter, that you coach them even harder in front of people, or you're a little bit more critical to them around the rest of the teammates because you don't even want anybody to have a sniff of preferential treatment. And sometimes that can be hard on the kid, where they might get disinterested with the sport because, well, I like playing the sport, but I don't like dad as my coach because he's overly hard on me because he's trying to prove a point or trying to send a message that he's not going to give me preferential treatment. I always thought that was probably my first interaction at least at a higher level of witnessing that. And I really did respect the way the McLaughlins went about it and worked out well. Won a state title through that.
Another reverse nepotism, J-Ball hired his dad.
Oh, what?
When he won his state title, his dad was on his staff. Or
what about the Celtics?
Well, okay. How about the Barons?
Okay. Oh yeah, because now dad is he? Where's he at now?
Dad's an athletic. Well, Eric is
the
an
athletic director at Wesley,
yes.
right?
Yeah.
Okay. But that was at Central.
Rick and Eric were together.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But Jay hired his dad to coach at Central or at South, and then when he made the move to Central, his dad came over.
Ryan brings up Lane Kiffin.
A lot of nepotism going on at Central.
In the Metro. This is what's bad with OPS athletics right now. Gosh dang it.
You hot take city today. All right, quick break. Mike Schaefer's coming up about 30 minutes at 1620 The Zone.
More with Gary and Nick after this on 1620 The Zone. Remember, no matter how you listen, it's still AM radio. 1620 The Zone.
Is your concrete cracked or uneven? Hey everyone, Coach Greg McDermott here to explain why you should choose Everlevel Concrete Repair. Many people think they need to replace broken concrete, but repairing it provides durable protection and comes at a fraction of the cost. Everlevel provides permanent repair solutions to fix your concrete and protect it against future damage, and it all comes with a long-term transferable warranty. They offer free inspections to walk you through the entire process. Call Everlevel Concrete Repair today.
Email unsportsmanlike conduct on the Equitable Bank Zone inbox with whatever is on your mind, from your hot takes to what you think is one. The Zone inbox is brought to you by Equitable Bank. We take banking personally. We want to hear from you on the Equitable Bank Zone inbox.
Are you the decision maker in your company? Consider this. For the first time in decades, there's a better option for a corporate card and spend management platform. Meet Ramp, the only corporate card and spend management system designed to help you spend less money so you can make more. Most corporate credit cards offer points as incentives, but those points amount to less than their worth in real cash value. Ramp's business cards offer you cash back, real money in your pocket. Plus, you control who spends what with each vendor. And Ramp's software collects and verifies receipts automatically, which means you'll stop wasteful spending and close your books in hours instead of days. Businesses that use Ramp add up to 5% to their bottom line the first year. If you're a decision maker, adding Ramp could be one of the best decisions you've ever made. And now get $250 when you join Ramp for free. Just go to ramp.com/sports. Ramp.com/sports. RAMP.com/sports.
Cards issued by Sutton Bank and Celtic Bank, members of FDIC. Terms and conditions apply.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm. If you own a timeshare, don't miss this public service announcement from Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group.
If you receive an unsolicited phone call or mail piece to discuss selling, renting, or especially canceling your timeshare, don't fall for it. If you really want out of your timeshare, hang the phone up immediately or throw that mail piece in the trash and contact your timeshare resort or Wesley Financial Group for assistance with your timeshare. As the only Inc. 500 timeshare cancellation company, our knowledge, experience, and results has made Wesley a trusted resource for over 40,000 families we've helped get out of their timeshare. Give us a call and I'll send you our timeshare exit information kit free with the straight facts about your timeshare and all of your options for cancellation.
Call for your free info kit, 800-893-2288, 800-893-2288, 800-893-2288.
Fireworks season is here.
This week is a Zone Deal 4th of July Mega Week. Each day will feature deals from businesses sure to make your 4th of July great. Half off. Check out our deals from Twisted Thunder Fireworks, Ted and Wally's Premium Ice Cream, Agave Azteca, Mex Eatly, and Rib Shack. All for half off. Don't miss this 4th of July Zone Mega Week at 1620thezone.com and click deals.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online at hims.com/radio. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation to determine the ED medication that's best for you, discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and a range of treatment options, including trusted generic alternatives to the name brands, at up to 95% off. ED is personal, and at Hims, so is treating it. Just go to hims.com/radio and get connected to a licensed medical provider online for free, with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, hims.com/radio. That's hims.com/radio for your free online visit. hims.com/radio.
1620 The Zone at 1620thezone.com. Now back to mornings with Sharp and Handley on 1620 The Zone.
All right. Jeremy brings up a good point here. I'll let you two discuss. What if your friend's mom is one of those hot teachers that has affairs with students? Whole new dynamic.
Absolutely.
Oh, totally.
What if she was your babysitter and more?
So, okay.
Because there is a little bit of, I'll get to this after you make a point, Nick, but there is some controversy there's another layer of controversy surrounding LeBron and Bronny being on the same team, but continue.
Okay. I had a friend growing up, middle school too.
Had an affair with a teacher?
Through high school, no. But he did have what many would consider a very attractive mom, and I really feel bad for him and felt bad for him throughout his entire time with us because we're a bunch of knuckleheads. And anytime we wanted to hang out with him, especially in the summer, we'd always ask if his mom was laying out because they had a pool. We want to know if his mom was laying out of the pool. Wow. And then you get to a certain age, you realize that's really mean because he was very, very uncomfortable by it. And he really got mad at us
That's
a lot
a
of
him
times
problem.
when we would ask him. And of course, when you're that age, when they get mad about things like that, you only make it worse and you only ask more questions about her. So I can only imagine if something like that happened where you had a mother who looked a certain way and then went as far as having an affair. I don't think I would ever wish that even on my worst enemy.
You haven't seen The Graduate at all?
I've not seen The Graduate.
You
This
should
is the
watch
second
it.
time
Yeah.
you've asked me.
You really should go watch it. It's a great
Should
movie.
be on the
Mr. Beanie
Jimmy,
is in
Jimmy
the movie.
Chavez Film Club.
Yeah. Is this our movie club?
Yeah.
Okay.
There
Now,
you go.
can I ask a question for the gallery?
Yeah.
Is your friend married?
He is now, yes.
Is his wife better looking than his mom? Because that's a whole nother dynamic.
Ooh, I almost slipped the name out there.
Give it up.
I would say
Everybody knows
in
what
her
you're talking about.
heyday, I'm going to say mom better.
How good of a friend is this friend? Because this may have just derailed your relationship.
We've lost touch over the years as you tend to do. I've probably seen it. The last time I saw it was probably about 15 years ago.
When the last time you saw mom?
Probably about 25 years ago.
Have you looked her up on the gram?
Okay.
It's been a while.
Is she on the gram? On the TikTok? On the Facebook?
I'm pretty sure she's not on the gram.
Damn.
Yeah, she might be. I don't know.
She was on the gram before the gram was the gram.
Yes.
When it was the Teddy gram.
All right,
Yeah.
here's the thing
Called
that has not been
Polaroids.
addressed. And I'd really like to see, like Stephen A. Smith. If you are worth your $25 million, you will break this down. How come no one else has brought up the fact that there is a little bit of controversy going on between LeBron and Bronny?
What kind of controversy are you speaking of here?
LeBron is sleeping with Bronny's mom.
Many people forget.
Hey, we've seen that Delonte West. I mean, we've seen locker rooms. We're back with more. We'll shift to, while y'all are protesting
These are the
EA
things JJ Redicker is going to have to deal with.
While you're protesting EA Sports, can we bring something up about Colorado that I have not heard yet? I'm going to do it, I think we need to have a reality check with Colorado football in 2024.
Do a certain side of the football?
They shouldn't be on that list.
I mean,
they're nice and everything, but they shouldn't be on that list.
I know where you're going.
It is peak college football offseason when we are enraged by lists from a
Team
video
rankings.
game.
Thank you, EA Sports.
1620 The Zone.
More with Gary and Nick after this on 1620 The Zone. Live from the Host Coffee Studio, this is 1620 The Zone. 1620 The Zone. Traffic.
From the Pyramid Roof and Time Saving Traffic Center. There's still a crash block on the right shoulder of the northbound North Freeway at Cumming. Also, if you're on I-680, be aware of slowdowns going towards the exit ramp to the westbound Dodge Expressway. We still have a few road closures due to the Missouri River floods impacting the Omaha Metro. You won't be able to access I-680 in both directions between exit 13 in Omaha and I-29 in Council Bluffs. The same applies for I-29 in both directions between I-480 and I-880. Be sure to buckle up, drive safe out there. I'm Joey Colbert.
This time-saving traffic is brought to you by Modern Real Estate.
Introducing Modern Real Estate, the game changer in Nebraska's property market. With a competitive 2% commission rate, we're making buying, selling, and investing more affordable and transparent than ever. Visit modernrealestateco.com and experience the future of real estate today.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm. If you own a timeshare, don't miss this public service announcement from Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group.
If you receive an unsolicited phone call or mail piece to discuss selling, renting, or especially canceling your timeshare, don't fall for it. If you really want out of your timeshare, hang the phone up immediately or throw that mail piece in the trash and contact your timeshare resort or Wesley Financial Group for assistance with your timeshare. As the only Inc. 500 timeshare cancellation company, our knowledge, experience, and results has made Wesley a trusted resource for over 40,000 families we've helped get out of their timeshare. Give us a call and I'll send you our timeshare exit information kit free with the straight facts about your timeshare and all of your options for cancellation.
Call for your free info kit, 800-893-2288, 800-893-2288, 800-893-2288.
Celebrate July 4th with savings at Lowe's. For a limited time, save on the essentials you need to make your garden pop for summer, like Miracle-Gro 25-quart potting mix. Get 2 bags for just $16 and get up to 40% off, plus save an extra $50 on every $500 you spend on select major appliances. Hurry, these deals won't last long because Lowe's knows summer savings. Valid through 7/10. Miracle-Gro excludes Alaska and Hawaii. Appliance savings vary based on purchase amount, excluding supply. See Lowe's.com for more details while supplies last.
I'm Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I learned about atrial fibrillation the hard way. My symptoms would come and go, shortness of breath, fatigue. I kept going. Then I got so lightheaded, I couldn't. My doctor said I have AFib, so I'm about 5 times more likely to have a stroke. Other symptoms, irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain can come and go, but the risk of stroke stays. If you have symptoms, tell a doctor. Visit notimetowait.com.
Sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
Twisted Thunder Fireworks is going to save you big money. You'll find the best variety and the lowest prices in the entire state of Nebraska. Don't believe us? See page after page of products and pricing online at twistedthunder.com, where you can watch everything before you buy and choose local pickup so it's ready to go for you at the tent. Go to twistedthunder.com to check out all of our locations in Nebraska as well as our location in Council Bluffs. That's twistedthunder.com.
Watching a ball game at Oscar's Pizza and Sports Grill is pretty awesome. Oscar's offers the MLB package, so your team is always on their upgraded audio-video system, and nothing is better than watching the game with a cold frosty one, Oscar's Pizza, or award-winning char-buffed wings. And with daily lunch and dinner specials, it's really a no-brainer. So get ready to watch your favorite team play ball at Oscar's Pizza and Sports Grill, 173rd and West Center Road, and takeout at 162nd and Maple.
It's going to be another sizzling hot summer. Stay cool with 35% off new Champion windows. Don't burn your money on high energy bills. Get new energy efficient windows from Champion. 35% off. Plus, get an extra $100 off every window you replace. The more you buy, the more you save. We help you choose the best design options for your home. We then build your project in our very own factory. Our install team manages your project every step of the way, and it's all backed by our lifetime guarantee. Plus, we're giving away the chance to win a $50,000 home makeover. Enter online today. Turn your house into your dream home with more livable space in a new Champion sunroof. Or enhance your curb appeal with new siding. Now 35% off. Don't wait. This sale won't last long. 35% off windows, sunroofs, and siding. Plus, get an extra $100 off every window you replace. Call 877-GO-CHAMPION or visit championsavenow.com to schedule a free in-home estimate today. While discounts apply to our regular prices, select styles apply. Minimum purchase required. Cannot be combined with other advertised offers. See store or website for details.
Hey, Nebraskans, your signatures are needed to finally legalize medical marijuana, but time is limited. There's nearly 1 week left. Get to the state's best liquor stores, wine, beer, and spirits today and sign. Support NMN2024.org to make a donation.
Email any of our shows anytime into the Equitable Bank inbox. At Equitable, we take banking personally. For me, John at 1620thezone.com. The Equitable Bank inbox from 1620.
Tickets, seats, best prices, no service fees. Shop tickets for less.com. KOZN Bellevue, Omaha, Council Bluffs. This is 1620 The Zone. Now back to mornings with Sharp and Handley on 1620 The Zone.
Great song.
Really fine.
Summer of 95.
The jocks get the fly girls, and me, I get the hood rats.
Hello, Vicky.
Are we talking about hood rats on one of the shows?
I know what you guys are talking about.
All right, welcome back in. Mornings with Sharp and Handley. Jimmy in here on a free-for-all Friday.
It is a Friday.
Yeah.
So it's good.
From the text line, in all seriousness, those teachers that had affairs with students didn't exist at any level of school I've ever been in. Suddenly, those affairs are everywhere, and all the chicks are smoke shows.
Not all, but most.
A lot more than when I was in school.
But boy, then when they get their mugshot, they don't look the same.
No, it's kind of that walk of shame look.
People on your Nextdoor app talk about that out in Bennington, that little issue that happened a couple of months ago.
They haven't talked about it lately. I think it's just one of those dark chapters in the Bennington year that we like to just move past. There was the tornado, there was the tornadoes, and then there was the teacher. Even though she wasn't a Bennington teacher, she just got busted in Bennington.
Yeah,
so let's make sure we differentiate.
Yeah, stay closer to your home school.
Yes.
Yeah.
Why do you got to go? Why do you got to go to a dark road in Bennington?
It sounds like a good name of a movie.
It's crazy when something like that happens, which is, it's unfortunate.
It is a little too often these days.
But the people that are involved in it, boy, they like to tell you the story.
Yep.
They're like, hey, wait till you hear this. You're like, oh my gosh.
I just thought it was funny. The day after it happened, we were together with some friends, and one of the people we were with, he goes, yeah, I dated her in high school. I'm like, oh.
So did that kid.
Well, you're obviously,
I call it
you've
dating.
aged out.
One time somebody's babysitting you and they happen to be 8 years older. Mm-hmm. And the next thing you know, that's your girlfriend and you're now becoming a Mormon.
And she's shown up to your prom at the age of 23.
And you get to play for the Utah Jazz and a long list of tall white guys that have played for that franchise.
Again, that's the story of the draft. This is Kyle Filipowski story. It is not Bronny James. Mm-hmm. It's Kyle Filipowski. If you do not know the story, we talked about it in the first hour. I think we did a good job of breaking that down. Okay. So I had to pull some people back. They were ready to go protest EA Sports.
Yep.
I said, just hold on. The game's going to be a banger. Do not just blow EA Sports up, because right now we need EA Sports. They're holding Sam Keller against us with these garbage rankings that do not have Nebraska's defense.
That's what it is.
Do not have Nebraska's defense in the top 25, even though last year they were 11th in the country.
Mm-hmm.
But yet USC and Colorado were in the top 20. So there's always an agenda. I mean, let's just get to the bottom line, is that people are holding us down. They don't want Nebraska football to be successful. So they are putting a ceiling on us.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what? As I once heard in a TED Talk, you create your ceiling. Thank you. But here's one thing that I've not heard brought up about Colorado, and especially Nebraska playing Colorado in week number 2. Are we not going to acknowledge, because I heard Keyshawn Johnson the other day say Colorado's going to win 9. Joe Klatt's like, boy, this is a good Colorado team. Are we not going to acknowledge the fact that Colorado will have an offense that last year was 65th in offensive efficiency? Are we not going to acknowledge that they have a new offensive coordinator who not many people in the NFL were fans of, and that it is a step back? It is a downgrade at OC from Sean Lewis to Pat Shurmur.
Yeah.
Are we not acknowledging that?
Apparently not. And this is the popularity of having, well, it's the importance of having a quarterback that, again, Shedeur Sanders, I think we would all agree in this room, is a very good quarterback. But we saw when he was the quarterback compared to how he started the season and how he ended the season, that even he could not maintain any high production with that offense. You lost a very key running back to Kansas State. You've got a great two-way player in Travis Hunter. But as far as what they're going to do with the offensive line, I know there's hope that will be better, but is there any proof? And I know we're going to talk about the defense here in a little bit too, but you're also looking at a new defensive coordinator. You're looking at a defense that out of the transfer portal, they got some guys that they feel can help them, but that was the 121st defense a year ago as well.
No, nobody is bringing up the fact that Colorado has a new defensive coordinator. Now, he came from the NFL. He was 12 years with the Cincinnati Bengals, last 8 years as a safeties coach. He hasn't called defensive plays against top 25 teams ever. And now he's the defensive coordinator, and it is I don't know. If you're 96th in efficiency on defense, you can only go up from there. I've not heard anybody address who's calling plays on offense or defense at Colorado, because it certainly is not the head coach. He's not involved in that. So it is the OC/DC, and will they still have their jobs by the end of the year, or will they be relegated to signaling in plays or talking into a player's helmet?
Yeah. And again, it's a gauge on what some people feel. I'm glad you brought up a couple of different people talking about how Colorado, whether it's Keyshawn thinks they're going to win 9, Joe Klatt thinks they're going to be good. Isn't all of that confidence and that faith that they're putting into this Colorado thing actually coming together? It starts with having your faith in Deion Sanders, though. And I would say, okay, yeah, even if his methods are a little bit unorthodox, you start to look at the roster. But one thing that I think is an important thing, especially when you're going from year 1 to year 2 with a new coaching staff, is the continuity with the coaching staff itself. Now, maybe that doesn't apply for Colorado right now because there's no continuity with the roster. But a lot of guys that are brought up with this offense have to do with the guys that were there a year ago. And a lot of guys that are being brought up with defense, whether we're talking about Shiloh Sanders, whether we're talking about Cameron Simon Craig or Travis Hunter, these are guys that were there a year ago. So to me, the continuity of that roster, even though everything else is in flux, that coaching staff, there's no continuity there. So am I to believe that they just had the wrong pieces in place as far as, like you said, play callers on the offense and defensive side, and this is going to work with the additions that they made in the transfer portal? That has taken a major leap of faith with a system and a program that we saw get really fractured there at the second half of the season.
Now, Colorado will be better. I think Colorado will win at least 6 games. And their skill guys are really good, and they have one of the best wide receiver groups in all of college football. So I think they will win at least 6. But think about this. On September 7th, you're going to have Pat Shurmur coordinating an offense against Tony White. I think I would take Tony White. Yeah. Now, would you take Marcus Satterfield with Glenn Thomas coordinating an offense against Robert Livingston, who would be coaching his second game as DC at Colorado?
Yes, I would. Because, again, this is where, say what you will about Marcus Satterfield, but his experience of doing this at the college game, I think, warrants a little bit more credit and a little bit more credibility than a guy who has not done that yet, especially that early in the season. I think that is, I go back to this. I think it's a major leap of faith if you're expecting that to be an extremely smooth transition.
All right, Jimmy, do we have a little sounder for a stat of the day?
We don't, but we can see what we have.
Let's get a sounder for stat of the day because I'm a.
Oh, yeah.
And the Dodgers just scored.
Let's see. Do we have the most
69?
That's not it either.
Okay.
Always good.
If you're just tuning in,
What are you just hitting buttons?
Yeah, I'm just hitting buttons, seeing what we have for sounds in here. I didn't put any of these in here, but oh, here we go.
Hey, that's the traffic one.
All right, I'll look out. It's the Funkadelic Felt Funk for Champs. I was going to sing Mind Blown song.
Oh, there you go.
Redmond?
I like playing against road games.
Okay.
There's your sound.
Are you ready for the stat of the day?
I am.
This is going to blow your mind.
I'm ready.
You know, it was first brought up by the guys over at On 3. Stephen M. Sibble, Robin Washington, John Callahan, Abby Barmore, Grant Hansen. Am I missing anybody?
Munson.
Brian Munson. Damn.
I
love Munson.
We don't want to get Munson out.
Greg Peterson. Brought up by those folks over there. The Nebraska has 80 true freshmen or redshirt freshmen in the program. That, first of all, is incredible. That they have 80. They have 80.
Kind of think that's exciting.
Do you know from Shadur Sanders all the way to Shane Cokes, do you know how many players Colorado has on their entire roster?
I thought I saw this somewhere. Is it 78?
77.
77, okay.
Nebraska football has more freshmen and true freshmen than Colorado has listed players online at cubufs.com/sports/football/roster. Hello.
Talk about maximizing reps, though.
Hello.
A lot of reps to go around. Going to be maximizing those. So when it comes to the possibly capping the roster size, I don't think Deion Sanders really cares.
No, but because they have a cover boy, they were able to get into the top 20 in offense and defense on the EA Sports game rankings.
Because he plays both.
So stop everybody from protesting. Buy the game, enjoy the game, consume the game, and just know that we are living in Sam Keller hell until Nebraska starts winning.
I really appreciate that theory. I didn't even think of it that way. That the fact that Nebraska was not ranked in the top 25 team defensively is because of Sam Keller.
We're going to have a guest on from EA Sports when we get close to the game release, and I'm going to ask him, did Sam Keller really hurt you that bad?
I mean, not part of the most intimidating environments.
That the graphic for the guy in Memorial Stadium throwing the bones is not correct.
Yeah. Although they didn't show real Herbie, so maybe there's something there with that.
Little Red being the game.
Well, and didn't they, in one of the trailers, we think, show Bly Hill?
Yeah, Tommy Hill got.
Was it Tommy?
Yeah.
I thought
Tommy Hill.
I thought maybe
all
it
of a
was
sudden,
Bly.
all of a sudden there was a number discrepancy.
Okay.
And Mr. Butler was like, "Whoa, I thought I was 10."
Yeah. Okay. Because at first we were thinking, wait a minute, it says Hill and it's 10. Like, that's supposed to be Bly. See, I thought that was like a troll of, well, he's injured right now. So maybe they could have a Sam Keller dartboard
To make
EA
up,
Sports.
to make up, I think they should just drop like 1,000 games in Nebraska because they've hurt us. They have pained us. They allowed us for about 5 minutes to be triggered by a ranking from a video game.
Why can't they do this about Arizona State too? I mean, that's where Sam Keller started. It's where he got his jump. Was Arizona State. Why is it always got to be about Nebraska here?
Because everything, Nick, is about Nebraska.
I guess so.
What they told me when I inquired about a job here.
Mike Schaefer is coming up next on 1620 The Zone.
Mornings with Sharp and Handley returns in minutes on 1620 The Zone. The Connor Happer Show.
Number 10, not Nikola Jokic, Nikola Topic.
Look, we got Nikola Jokic. There's a player on the Heat named Nikola Jokic also, or something like that. And now this guy's coming into the league.
Nikola Topic.
I cannot allow this. That'd be like if in the 90s there was a Michael Jordan that came into the league.
The Connor Happer Show, weekdays from 10 to 2 on 1620 The Zone. Your Omaha area forecast presented by Funplex Water Park and Rides from the KETV Newswatch 7 Weather Center on 1620 The Zone.
Friday is a severe weather day with a chance for strong to severe storms in the metro, mainly between 2 and 6 p.m. All modes of severe weather in play with any stronger storms. Otherwise, expect warm, humid, and breezy conditions with highs in the mid to upper 80s. I'm meteorologist Sean Everson from KETV Newswatch 7.
1620 The Zone. Traffic.
From the Pyramid Roofing Time Saving Traffic Center. There's still a crash block on the right shoulder of the northbound North Freeway at Cumming. Also, if you're on I-680, be aware of slowdowns going towards the exit ramp to the westbound Dodge Expressway. We still have a few road closures due to the Missouri River floods impacting the Omaha Metro. You won't be able to access I-680 in both directions between exit 13 in Omaha and I-29 in Council Bluffs. The same applies for I-29 in both directions between I-480 and I-880. Be sure to buckle up, drive safe out there. I'm Joey Colbert.
This time-saving traffic is brought to you by Modern Real Estate.
Introducing Modern Real Estate, the game changer in Nebraska's property market. With a competitive 2% commission rate, we're making buying, selling, and investing more affordable and transparent than ever. Visit modernrealestateco.com and experience the future of real estate today.
It's simple, Nebraska. Do the FAFSA.
No, it's not a new dance trend.
It's the free application for federal student aid.
That's money for college. Thousands of dollars for classes, books, and housing.
Just 10 minutes is all it takes to apply for the financial aid you need.
With fewer questions and faster fill-out time, it's simple to see how much you're qualified for.
Go ahead, Nebraska. Do the FAFSA.
Get started at dothefafsa.org.
Hop into the driver's seat of a new Ford truck or SUV now at Baxter Ford. Choose from hundreds of new Ford F-150s, F-150 Lightnings, F-250s, and F-350s. Baxter Ford has over 250 new SUV models available, including Bronco, Bronco Sport, Escape, Edge, Explorer, Expedition, and more. Plus, all our vehicles come with fair, transparent pricing and no dealer fees. So you only pay for the vehicle, not the paperwork. Get started at BaxterFord.com.
Ramona's Mexican Restaurant, previously located at 30th and Reddick and now at 30th and Willett in historic Florence, is still the way you remember it. Nachos, deep fried burritos, and those amazing cinnamon chips. Have a margarita or a cocktail. Open until 2 a.m. on Friday and Saturdays too. And try Ramona's out of this world 2.5-pound massive burger with cheese, lettuce, tomatoes, and pickles. Ramona's Mexican Restaurant. Stop in today. Follow them on Facebook for specials and news about their monthly musical bingo.
Getting quality employees to fill positions in your company is essential, but finding those people can be a major hassle, unless you use ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter makes finding quality people a breeze. And right now you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. With ZipRecruiter, one click sends your job to hundreds of top job sites. But more than that, ZipRecruiter's advanced technology identifies the candidates with the skills you need, sends you a list of great matches to review, then actively invites them to apply for your job. And the results speak for themselves. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. That's right, the first day. Now you can focus on your business and let ZipRecruiter do the work finding the best people for you. See for yourself. Experience the ease, efficiency, and power of ZipRecruiter for free. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
I want to learn how to cook, but I keep ordering takeout.
I plan to rearrange my closet, but I stopped after picking the clothes up off the floor.
Accomplishing goals is hard, but when your goal is to learn a new language, Babbel makes it easy. In just 15 minutes a day, Babbel's award-winning language learning app will help you start speaking another language. Start having conversations in as little as 3 weeks.
Comment tu t'appelles? Comment tu t'appelles? Vous êtes où?
Vous êtes où?
Babbel's bite-sized lessons make it easy to learn words and phrases you'll actually use. So when someone asks,
"How's your French going?"
you can say,
Babbel est amusant et facilite grandement l'apprentissage d'une nouvelle langue. Et cela ne prend que 15 minutes par jour.
When you want to really learn another language, it starts with Babbel. Babbel, language for life. Celebrating 10 million subscriptions sold. Now try Babbel for free at babbel.com. Just go to babbel.com and start learning a new language today. That's babbel.com. BABBEL.com.
And we're back. Mornings with Sharp and Handley. Here's Gary, Nick, and Jimmy on 1620 The Zone.
All right, time to talk to Mike Schaefer from Husker 24/7, who was up late last night with a commitment or breaking down a 2-1 loss. He joins us now. Good morning.
Yeah, that was to me that was the most depressing performance of Thursday night. Was Cleveland just allowing the Royals to steal that game
with a bad strike zone too.
Runners on. Yeah, not a great strike zone, but you gotta score when you have the bases loaded. You know, one of those opportunities.
That is true.
That's just how it works in baseball.
Hey,
so it goes.
Okay.
More importantly, to the Nebraska fans, though, Brian Tapu, I learned the pronunciation of it, but adding an offensive lineman to the class, there's been a lot of sort of online hand-wringing, I guess is how you would phrase it, about Nebraska's recruiting with the offensive line, which feels a little premature given that I think they took 7 guys in the last cycle. You got Grant Bricks and Preston Talmua, and I think Xander Rugeroli is going to be a really interesting guy for him. But yeah, I think people were pretty concerned about offensive line recruiting. So a weird recruitment. Seemed like Oregon State got the commitment, and then Nebraska got back in his ear and was able to flip him pretty quickly.
All right, hold on. Let's before we get into that, because I know you want to come on here and you want to talk people off the ledge about recruiting, and that's fine. But back to last night, the Cleveland-Kansas City game. I would like you to power rank the most depressing things that happened last night. Was it what happened at the K, what happened between USA and Panama, or what happened on a stage in Atlanta?
Well, the most far-reaching consequences probably happened in Atlanta, but you know, I think I'll just say it this way: if you went into last night expecting to come away with some grand answer of the future of the United States, you probably were a little disappointed. But you also
are we talking soccer? Are we talking soccer or politics?
Let's go politics. It's a political show, right?
Hey, Shafe, can I brighten your day for a moment?
Please, let's just move away from that entirely.
If you can find yourself in Omaha this afternoon, I know yours and my favorite former Cleveland Indian, Jim Thome, is in Omaha. His son is playing in the high school national championship, and they are going to be at Tal Anderson at 10 and at 1 o'clock for Team Illinois.
Well, that's pretty exciting.
Yeah.
Jim Thome was a big fan, obviously, like most people were. Still, there's a little piece of me that's still a little mad that he left for the Phillies, but he found his way back and eventually found his way into Cooperstown.
Yes.
Hell of a player and pretty good analyst when they have him on MLB Network and the like.
We're talking about the great Minnesota Twin, correct?
Yeah, you know,
and the one-time Chicago White Sox too.
Well,
he had some pretty big postseason moments with they had that one-game playoff where I'm pretty sure he hit the game-deciding home run. Because it's disgusting to me, but there's that like iconic photo where he's rounding first base with his arm in the air, and I think he's wearing a White Sox uniform.
He was on the cover of Sports Illustrated hitting a home run at Target Field back in the day.
Yeah, well, that's you play for enough teams, you get to be in a lot of uniforms.
Okay, let's sift through any sarcasm here because that's a good pickup for Nebraska, and they've stocked their offensive line room over the last couple of years. Everybody has done the math. This is a pretty large roster, and you don't know what it's going to look like. So we don't know what the numbers are going to look like when it comes to recruiting. So there's a lot of moving pieces. But the month of June is supposed to be the month where Nebraska moves recruiting-wise. In all honesty, what's your general vibe on recruiting now that Nebraska is at 12, but have seen some guys who they were on the doorstep of getting a yay, got a nay in this month?
Yeah, I mean, I think part of the reality of June is that it's not just a big month for Nebraska; it's a big month for recruiting in general, and you have to come away with wins for it ultimately to really matter. And they had, Jamarian Parker was the month of June, Malcolm Simpson was the month of June, but they haven't up to quite the tune that you're hoping for. But it's not over yet. I mean, you still have some decisions that are being made. Jeremiah Jones is making a decision on Monday. I believe Houston Kahina Torres is making a decision on Sunday. Aiden Manti is making a decision in July. I believe Chase Lofton will be making a decision here within the next week or so. Just he holds to the timeline that he told me before the visit, and that looks like it could go Nebraska's way. Not necessarily set in stone, but I feel good about it coming off the visit. I felt good going into it. So there's still some critical, players that you had visiting. Then you have Christian Jones that isn't going to make a decision until the fall. I think we're in that period right now where the immediacy hasn't had the payoff yet, but it doesn't mean that there can't be some big commitments down the line. I mean, they got Ja'Cory Barney in July last year. I believe they got Preston Kalmua in July last year. They got Grant Bricks in November. They got Dylan Raiola in December. We really, really want to get into the nuts and bolts of this is working, that isn't working. They're not recruiting at a high enough level. And it's June 28th today? I just, at some point, we're going to take a step back, take a collective breath, and realize that analyzing the class in the middle of it is not always the healthiest form of talking about Nebraska recruiting, because it takes some time. And what this class looks like in 2 weeks could be different than what it looks like right now, and how you feel in 2 weeks could be different than how you feel right now. I think just let it breathe a little bit.
Dawson Merritt, last time we talked to you, seemed like it was trending the way it eventually went. Was there anything in your opinion that could have been left on the table, or was it as simply as what Dawson Merritt talked about, how he really praised the Alabama recruiting class and just their overall path to what he wants? Do you just take that at face value and you tip your cap and say, well, it is Alabama?
This is going to be frustrating to hear, and it's going to be, it's the reality, I think, of where Nebraska is at. It makes probably more sense for Dawson Merritt to commit to Alabama, and then if he transfers, you can look right there at Nebraska. Whereas if you go to Nebraska, you're probably not transferring to Alabama. So it feels like, to me, in some ways, what happened with Dawson Merritt is you take your first swing, and that's the biggest swing that you could take. And then if it doesn't work out, hey, there's still going to be these other great options. That's sort of how it feels a little bit to me. I think that his dad certainly had a lot of interest in Nebraska, having coached with Matt Rule. But ultimately, the allure of Alabama is still really strong. It's hard to get too worked up about losing a top 100 recruit to Alabama. Nebraska did everything they possibly could. But eventually you have to pay the piper for the past 8 years, for the past 25 years, for the past whatever amount that we want to do. Nebraska's not Alabama, even with Kalen DeBoer. And so, there's a lot of work left to do. I feel like we talk about Nebraska like it's more of a finished product than it is in the middle of the rebuild. And it's still in the middle of that rebuild. I mean, it might have a fresh coat of paint, but it doesn't have a roof overhead. So, I just think there's just so much angst and anxiety, and you can't win everything in June. And unfortunately, Dawson Merritt didn't go Nebraska's way, but it doesn't mean that everything is bad right now. I'm surprised, and I shouldn't be. Just the anxiety that has popped up with recruiting this month.
So it could, let's look at linebacker. It could still turn out to be a really good class. If you have a Merritt and Christian Jones next to each other, it's a great. It can still be very good. One of the guys that is intriguing that you've talked to, what's the Will Hawthorne story, who was here last weekend from Iowa, and it's basically down to Iowa State and Nebraska. He's got me not at hello, but I'm very intrigued by him. What's your gut say about what the process is with the Gilbert, Iowa linebacker?
Yeah, well, I think it's still kind of playing through. I mean, I don't know that Nebraska finished things off this past weekend, but I think they put themselves in a really good position for a guy who feels like a developmental linebacker. I mean, it's certainly not at the level of intrigue and excitement that you would have with a Dawson Merritt. He doesn't have that kind of cachet, but that doesn't mean that he can't play. And he's a guy that certainly fits what Nebraska wants to do on defense. But ultimately, they have to try to close out that recruitment. And here's the other thing: they've lost quite a few guys that they've liked to Iowa State too. So I would not just assume that Nebraska versus Iowa State is going to go in any one particular way. Matt Campbell's done a pretty nice job protecting some of the top guys in Iowa this year, guys that Nebraska was very interested in, and Mansky and Limbaugh and players of that nature. So this is a really interesting one, but it would be a good linebacker addition. I don't know that it makes or breaks anything with the class. Now, Christian Jones, everything feels like it's pointed this direction. You get Dawson Merritt, you could handle if Christian Jones potentially decides he doesn't want to stay in the state of Nebraska. You get Will Hawthorne, it's a backup to the idea that if you don't – but it all just sort of feels like the closer you get to not landing somebody in addition to Christian Jones, boy, that one feels really big, doesn't it?
Yep. Hey, you mentioned Canna Torres, and now with the news of Tapu yesterday, if the news goes well for Sean Hammerbeck, are you now starting to look at, okay, based on the clash you had a year ago on the offensive line, that you're now looking at that, okay, maybe it's not as much star power, but what we've continued to see this team do is be able to bring in that next wave that they're able to get in young, be able to develop them and have them ready for when they're eventually going to be needed. Again, creating that depth. If you get those two additions on top of Tapu, are you starting to feel a lot better about this offensive line, or is there still some work to be done in your opinion?
Yeah, I would feel pretty good about it. And then you still have some guys from Bishop Gorman that are out there that you have the relationship with that maybe could go your way. I'm not super concerned about the offensive line recruiting because they had such a good cycle last year. And, these guys like Houston, Kahina Torres, I mean, he was not Preston Kalmua, but he's, I believe, the number one player ranked in Hawaii. It would be a nice recruiting win. And I don't think it's a given. I mean, Arizona State has made that one, pretty interesting too. And so, and they have their own Hawaiian offensive line coach that has connections, and they're doing a nice job recruiting the islands as well. So that would be, I think, a nice recruiting win if Nebraska is able to pull that off. And then Sean Hammerbeck is sort of offensive line Nash Hutmaker in a lot of ways, just a really good athlete in a really small, remote area of South Dakota, a guy that pretty much anyone that is recruiting him wants because he's a very, very projectable, very athletic. And so I think that I think those would be two really big recruiting wins. I mean, if that's the core of your offensive line class, that's pretty good. I mean, it's not great, but it's pretty good. You got three really interesting, developable guys in that group if they're able to pull that off.
What if Jamal Banks is what he was last year, 59, 653, and 4? Is he as close to a sure thing of what you know you're going to get of most people on this roster?
I mean, if he's that, I think Nebraska would take it in a heartbeat. I don't think that you turn your nose up to that at all. That's really good production. That's probably a number one wide receiver, at least in terms of catches. And then, you don't need him to be the big play guy, but can he be steady? I would love to, those touchdowns, if that could be more like 6 or 8, that would be even better. But yeah, those would be really good numbers. I hesitate to call anyone a sure thing. But I like the picture of what it looks like with Banks. He's done such a good job assimilating to this team, immersing himself with this team, doing the things that Matt Rule wants. And so I think that if Nebraska and Jamal Banks can be rewarded for that, it'd be really good. He feels like he's very safe, injury aside, not that he's injured, but if anything were to happen, just because it's Nebraska and that's how these things seem to go. But he does feel like he's a pretty safe bet to be a consistent contributor from, the first game to the last.
I want to ask you, so we've talked, I'm glad Gary asked that question about Banks, because obviously there's Naor. We know where it seems the trajectory for Jalen Lloyd is, and even Malachi Coleman when healthy. we started hearing towards the end of the spring and now in the offseason, Janier and Bonner back to wide receiver. Are you intrigued? Are you optimistic? Or are you, I'll believe it when I see it, when it comes to how he's used and how effective he can be amongst what is now a crowded room?
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely intrigued. I don't have expectations, but honestly, of that wide receiver group, there's three guys I probably have expectations for. A fourth in Ja'Cory Barney, where I have a hunch that he's going to be pretty good, and then the rest, I have no idea. I mean, I don't know what you're going to get from Malachi Coleman this year. I don't know what you're going to get from Janier and Bonner, but they're plus athletes. They're intriguing. I mean, Bonner seems like the kind of guy that can make some tough catches. He had a nice touchdown in the red-white game. I mean, his versatility is intriguing. The fact that he's willing to get in there and mix it up as a blocker is intriguing. I just think there's different ways that you can utilize him. Does that mean that he's a guy that has more than 12 catches when you look up at the end of the year? No. But is he someone that could come up with a nice play for you in a critical time? Yes. And just think about how easy it is to talk about wide receiver depth in 2024 than where we were at this point last year in 2023, where you're hoping that Xavier Betts and Isaiah Garcia-Castaneda can come back to the team. You know, you're hoping that Marcus Washington can take the next step. You don't know what it's going to look like with Billy Kemp, and then a whole bunch of freshmen and Alex Bullock. Like, that's last year compared to where we just ran through all these names now. I just feel better about that position as a whole, and Bonner is a part of that.
Your mortgage is on the line. Who has more catches this upcoming year, Malachi Coleman or Isaiah Garcia-Castaneda?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know that
Shafe, mortgage is on the line. You live in a really nice house.
And I want to put my mortgage on either one of those. I don't know how people are going to feel about this. I would lean towards Garcia-Castaneda. I don't know what you're going to get from him returning from injury. I don't know how available he's going to be or how soon he'll be available. But this is a guy that has had some flashes, you know, in his career. And then he's also been a really productive wide receiver prior to Nebraska. And I go back to this all the time. Two schools that have done it pretty well in terms of producing wide receivers in recent years, Minnesota and Iowa State, were very bummed out when he chose Nebraska way back in 2021, 2022, 2022. I mean, in that range. So, I mean, he's a guy that I think he's a veteran. He knows what he's doing. You know what you're going to get from him. With Malachi, I don't know what his health situation is with that shoulder. He's bigger. I mean, the potential, you know, off the charts. There's just something, I don't know, something has felt off for a while there. And I don't necessarily mean that in a bad way. It just feels like maybe we're not going to get this big breakout season right now. But if he can just go be productive, if he can give you some good snaps, good reps, make plays when he has the opportunity to, that feels like that'd be a win for 2024.
You remember the Northwestern game that IGC had?
Yes.
Remember that?
In Ireland, yeah.
I do. I remember the catch that he had in the end zone. I remember the fumble that wasn't a fumble. I remember it all.
Yeah. And then we just kind of left. Yeah. Yep. And then last year he got hurt. But wasn't he also on the receiving end? A play that is forgotten in the Casey Thompson era is when Thompson was scrambling around.
Yeah, he's around like 50
and
yards.
chucked it down the field. Wasn't that Garcia-Castaneda caught the ball?
It was.
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah.
All right.
Been a part of some big plays.
So how soon we forget. Shafe, as always, I appreciate it. Great coverage by you guys this week on everything that is going on at 24/7. Have a great weekend, my friend.
All right, guys. Have a good one.
It's Mike Schaefer. You can follow him on Twitter at Mike J. Schaefer. That was a nice 32-yard touchdown pass in that game to the corner of the end zone.
It was. Oh, I just remember how excited I was.
And then he wasn't in the rotation anymore, and then Dad got involved, and then we were in the portal, and then we came back, and then we got injured. And now is he made the second tier of wide receivers behind Nayor, Banks, and Lloyd.
Mm-hmm. It's the Malachi discussion's interesting for the fact that I think there is that reluctance to fully embrace what he will be, and going through the shoulder surgery and everything from that standpoint. But as we've heard and a lot of people have seen, he's gotten put on some good weight. But I'm curious, knowing, and this is where I think it goes back to, and that's why I liked your question about Banks. is if he gives you just steady production, he's on the field, he's healthy, he's playing every game, and even Isaiah Noor to an extent, how that allows, I think that it's a huge benefit to Jalen Lloyd of taking a monster step this year. But even for a guy like Malachi Coleman, because when I think of the situation that Jalen Lloyd and Malachi were in last year, where it was out of necessity, you needed those guys on the field, and it was more trial by fire. This year, I think, again, this is the big if, as long as the health goes Nebraska's way and the two additions from the transfer portal can give you just steady production. What that can do for the growth, I don't worry about as much about Jalen Lloyd, but Malachi Coleman being able to ease back into it, maybe not even ease is the right word, but not having we got to play you because we have no other options type scenario, where now you're able to use it. I kind of looked at the defense example. It's not necessarily quantity, it's quality. The quality type of moments that you can put them in. Being able to, kind of like what Shafe said, even with a Bonner, where maybe it's not the amount of catches and yards you have this year if you're a guy like Malachi Coleman, but do you have big moments in some big games, as opposed to last year where you're just on the field all the time because, again, you were running out of bodies at that position. I would hope if Malachi Coleman is productive, it's maybe more on that level as opposed to you got to have a certain number of catches, a minimum number of catches, and a minimum number of receiving yards for you to feel like it's a successful sophomore year for Malachi Coleman.
Yeah, I got nothing. I think it's a sign of that wide receiver room. If a guy like that, we don't even talk about.
Well, and Isaiah Garcia-Castaneda is another one that I think it's funny. We remember his impact early in that season in 2022. And yeah, then we know what happened. But then you come back and you're thinking, okay, he's bought back into this coaching staff. And there was a lot of positive signs. Then he gets hurt. And so now you're looking at a situation where you're not necessarily needing Isaiah Garcia-Castaneda like you did last year to be one of your main guys, where he can be a depth piece to that wide receiving core.
They are deeper. And remember, he benefited from having a true wide receiver one. Then last year, he was in a room where it was just odd fit after odd fit, and he got hurt. So if he doesn't have to be even the second option, but could be the third and still be talented enough, but he's not in the first group like he was when he first got here. But he'll benefit from more depth of guys that are bigger on the outside so he can do his things. But you also have this, a coaching staff that knows how to use him. I think he's an intriguing piece. The Malachi Coleman, I don't know. I don't know what any expectation is for him. He could surprise us, but he's in a deep wide receiver room. All right, 8:53. Matt Verzal stopped by in the last hour of the week as we lead you into the crossover with Connor Happer. That's coming up at 10. They have a lot of special guests on. Don't they have Sip on Fridays?
They do have Sip on Fridays,
We'll talk to Verz coming up in the next hour on 1620 The Zone.
Mornings with Sharp and Handley on 1620 The Zone and 1620thezone.com with Gary Sharp and Nick Handley.
It's golf season, and that means it's time to start betting like a pro with the world's largest sports book right at your fingertips. Circa Sports Iowa. It's sports betting the way it should be. The odds makers with the lowest holds and the best odds for every tournament. Plus, high betting limits, exceptional customer service, and more. Fund and bet like a pro anywhere, anytime. It's never been easier. Get ready for all the biggest golf tournaments with Circa Sports Iowa. Visit circasports.com today. If you or someone you know may have a problem with gambling, call 1-800-238-7633.
Baseball and ice cream go together like fireworks in the 4th of July. I mean, on any given night during the summer, you're bound to run into a team of little leaguers getting ice cream after their game, win or lose. So before you head home after the game, head over to Ted and Wally's Ultra Premium Ice Cream and pick up your flavor. They serve more than 3,000 of them. Keep track of the daily specials on social media. Celebrating more than 35 years. Ted and Wally's Ultra Premium Ice Cream. Benson, Old Market, and at tedandwallys.com.
Email us on the Equitable inbox with whatever is on your mind. The Zone inbox is brought to you by Equitable Bank. We take banking personally. You can hit me up, agree, disagree, tell me your thoughts on life at Handley at 1620thezone.com. We want to hear from you on the Equitable Bank Zone inbox.
Getting quality employees to fill positions in your company is essential, but finding those people can be a major hassle, unless you use ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter makes finding quality people a breeze. And right now you can try it for free at ziprecruiter.com/radio. With ZipRecruiter, one click sends your job to hundreds of top job sites. But more than that, ZipRecruiter's advanced technology identifies the candidates with the skills you need, sends you a list of great matches to review, then actively invites them to apply for your job. And the results speak for themselves. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. That's right, the first day. Now you can focus on your business and let ZipRecruiter do the work finding the best people for you. See for yourself. Experience the ease, efficiency, and power of ZipRecruiter for free. Just go to ziprecruiter.com/radio. That's ziprecruiter.com/radio. ziprecruiter.com/radio.
Hi, I'm Nick Bromell, owner of Royalty Roofing. The recent storms wreaked havoc on our community. Our team at Royalty Roofing is here to help. We're local, skilled, licensed, and bonded. We work for you to ensure you get the funds you deserve and make sure that the work is done to your satisfaction. Don't take risks with your biggest investment, your home. We are Better Business Bureau Integrity Award winners and Best of Omaha winners. Cover your roof with Royalty. Visit us today at royaltyroofing.org.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online at hims.com/radio. Through HIMS, you'll get a free medical consultation to determine the ED medication that's best for you, discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and a range of treatment options, including trusted generic alternatives to the name brands, at up to 95% off. ED is personal, and at HIMS, so is treating it. Just go to hims.com/radio and get connected to a licensed medical provider online for free, with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, hims.com/radio. That's hims.com/radio for your free online visit. hims.com/radio.
1620 The Zone at 1620thezone.com. Now back to mornings with Sharp and Handley on 1620 The Zone.
All right, hold on. I'm gonna click on this because I see what's in the title.
Oh,
Picks in bio.
best webcast.
Okay, this is. Oh no, keep that up.
Oh, I accidentally hit.
Is that Len?
It was. It wasn't
Steal My
supposed to be.
Sunshine?
Yeah.
There's a one-hit wonder.
Where is it? There we go.
All right, because I'm about to say something positive about Trev Alberts.
Oh,
okay.
That's what you're supposed to do in Omaha Sports Talk Radio. Before you say something nice about Trev, you're supposed to go, I'm going to say something nice about Trev. He is on the path to making a really smart hire for his baseball coach.
Jim Leland.
So, timing when you get sloshed and you got to hire a coach because the portal is closing. He is about, or they are moving in the right direction to hiring Dan Hefner as his head baseball coach at Texas A&M.
DBU, right?
Yep.
Yeah, the Dallas.
That's a
okay.
damn good coach too.
It's probably not a splash hire because he hasn't won a national championship or been to the College World Series.
But he's solid.
But in the state of Texas, if you know, you know. What he has done at Dallas Baptist, the success that he's had with Division II level resources, if they're able to get to the finish line, this is a really, really good hire for Texas A&M. An Iowa guy who I really wanted to get him to get involved in the Nebraska job a couple of cycles ago.
Mm-hmm.
So
he's very well thought of, and this job has been something like this has been down the line for him, and it's been his destiny. But you give him A&M support and money, and great hire.
If they get there, they're like on the 5-yard line. If they get there,
run the
and
ball.
I don't think it's because if you're an A&M fan, you'll go, "Oh my God, they just hired the Kevin Sumlin of college baseball." because when Sumlin got hired at Texas A&M, he had success at Houston, but had not had like playing for championships or anything like that, but was a good coach. After a good start at A&M, he kind of flamed out. But Dan Hefner's a really good baseball guy.
Yeah, he's a
Iowa guy who I always thought would come back this way. But, man, what he has done at Dallas Baptist, if this happens, that's a solid hire. That's a good hire for Texas A&M, and I hope people will realize that, even though he doesn't have a trip to the CWS on his resume.
He won't leave there.
There's
that job.
A lot about the comparison to football when it comes to finding coaches like that in baseball, that this is where I always feel a little bit more confident in, say, the smaller schools and those coaches that have a track record of building the program or sustaining. Dallas Baptist, and Jimmy, you know this being from that area too. I mean, Dallas Baptist at various levels has been very successful. I remember when Nebraska a while back got Eric Newman when he was out at Dallas Baptist too. I mean, they've had that reputation. That's one of those programs that you don't even have to ask what conference they're in.
I'm surprised
because you just know them as Dallas Baptist.
Missouri Valley.
Yeah. Well, thank you. But you know them as a reputation, much like Oral Roberts. You know them as a reputation of they recruit well, they get really good baseball players. And so when you're able to have that program going like that, you make the jump to Texas A&M. And again, if you're into that position of knowing the recruiting territory, knowing that there are so many damn good baseball players in that area, and there's plenty to go around for all those schools. The thing that I think football gets in trouble with when it comes to more resources. Hey,
I didn't even press that.
Steal my sunshine, man.
That's weird. Okay, so it's possessed.
Okay.
Unless
well,
it's
it just
you.
likes Len. That's all right.
Oh.
That you get to that position of more resources, but also more expectations, more fan base, and sometimes the microscope that you are under. Oh, geez. Is this the Clint Eastwood one?
It is.
Oh, God. This isn't Len, though.
No.
Right. That's another one.
No. They stole our sunshine.
In baseball,
they
even and we had this conversation last week, even though baseball is considered the second sport at Texas A&M, from a coverage and pressure and under the microscope, comparing that to football is still completely apples and oranges. And I think you see this throughout college baseball, that if you go from that smaller situation for coaches that sometimes flame out or don't hold up those expectations because the weight of that job is far greater than what they expected. You see that, I think, way more in football than you do in baseball. So even though Texas A&M, as far as college baseball program, is going to have a lot of eyeballs on it and they're going to be under a microscope, I still think your success rate is going to be a lot greater in the sport of baseball than it is in college football.
So he's the front runner right now to be the guy that does not get sloshed. All the pitchers are staying. It's weird. All the pitchers are staying at Texas A&M. Position players are like a fat kid in dodgeball. They're out. Matt Verzal, no correlation, is going to join us here in the last hour. Plus, we're going to play a little trivia question. We're going to do a little trivia when we come back on 1620 The Zone.
Mornings with Sharp and Handley on 1620 The Zone and 1620thezone.com with Gary Sharp and Nick Handley. Live from the Host Coffee Studio, this is 1620 The Zone. 1620 The Zone. Traffic.
From the Pyramid Roofing Time Saving Traffic Center. It's been a quiet feel-good Friday morning in the Omaha Metro with no new accidents or delays to report. We just got those road closures due to the Missouri River floods impacting I-680 and I-29. I-680 is closed in both directions between exit 13 in Omaha and I-29 in Council Bluffs. The same applies with I-29 in both directions between I-480 and I-880. Hope you have a fantastic weekend. Just be sure to buckle up, drive safe out there. I'm Joey Colbert.
This time-saving traffic was brought to you by Fernando's.
Spring, it's the reward for surviving another winter. Fernando's, it's the reward for any day that ends in Y. Great Mexican food, awesome margaritas, and a wonderful family atmosphere. Fernando's, Omaha's favorite Mexican for more than 30 years.
Hi, this is Doug Nodgard with Equitable Bank. Great service never goes out of style. When the digital age dawned, many said computers would be able to handle many of the interactions that used to take a person. Boy, were they wrong. How many times have you called your bank and gotten a recording to press 1 or 2? Not at Equitable. Not only does Equitable answer your call on the first ring, it's answered by a human being. That's because Equitable Bank values its customers. Equitable Bank, we take banking personally. Member FDIC.
Hop into the driver's seat of a new Ford truck or SUV now at Baxter Ford. Choose from hundreds of new Ford F-150s, F-150 Lightnings, F-250s, and F-350s. Baxter Ford has over 250 new SUV models available, including Bronco, Bronco Sport, Escape, Edge, Explorer, Expedition, and more. Plus, all our vehicles come with fair, transparent pricing and no dealer fees. So you only pay for the vehicle, not the paperwork. Get started at BaxterFord.com.
Twisted Thunder Fireworks is going to save you big money. Scott, don't believe page of products and pricing online at twistedthunder.com, where you can watch everything before you buy and choose local pickup so it's ready to go for you at the tent. Go to twistedthunder.com to check out all of our locations in Nebraska as well as our location in Council Bluffs. That's twistedthunder.com.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online at hims.com/radio. Through HIMS, you'll get a free medical consultation to determine the ED medication that's best for you, discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and a range of treatment options, including trusted generic alternatives to the name brands, at up to 95% off. ED is personal, and at HIMS, so is treating it. Just go to hims.com/radio and get connected to a licensed medical provider online for free, with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, hims.com/radio. That's hims.com/radio for your free online visit. hims.com/radio.
Tickets for less. Best seats, best prices, no service fees. Shop ticketsforless.com. KOZN Bellevue, Omaha, Council Bluffs. This is 1620 The Zone. And we're back. Mornings with Sharp and Handley. Here's Gary, Nick, and Jimmy on 1620 The Zone.
This reminds me of Any Given Sunday.
Yep. Didn't know you could chainsaw an SUV.
Yeah. Cutting steaming Willie Beeman's SUV in half.
Don't piss off LT.
Shark.
We have another Blue Jay that has become a Longhorn. Whatever happened to Christian Bishop?
I don't know. That's a good question after he went to Texas.
Anybody heard from Christian Bishop in a while?
He hasn't texted me back in a while. That's good.
Art Kaluma will finish his college career at Texas.
And that's the final domino in the
Art Kaluma saga?
The portal gets the big portal fish out there. That was kind of the last one there. So Texas, all right, there it is. Well, ACC. Well, I guess they're no longer Big 12.
That's Southwest Conference.
Yeah, you went from Kansas State into Big 12, but now it's SEC. It's hitting all the big conferences right now. All right, good for him. Good luck to you, Art.
Let's play a little trivia here. As the world, we are in the summer of Bronny.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if he'd really have gone to Australia, like his agent said, like Rich Paul said. Also, is anybody in the NBA shocked that the Lakers took Bronny James?
No.
Because there's 29 other teams that would never want to deal with that media circus.
Yeah. Nope.
Even though it would have been funny at pick 54 if the Celtics would have drafted Bronny James. They have no room for dad. They have no desire to add dad.
Yeah.
But the Lakers' rival adds his son.
Just decided to quash that entire story.
2024.
Oh gosh, that would have been some fine pettiness right
See,
there.
the Lakers could have drafted somebody else and then signed Bronny as an undrafted free agent because nobody's going to draft him. Nobody wants that media circus.
Mm-hmm.
But there is a trivia question out there. And it involves a guy that somebody on the show is intimately familiar with. Can you name a player drafted after Bronny James? You know, the trivia question when you're sitting down and you're watching the movie Air, and you're like, wow, this is like one of the best performances by Matt Damon.
Very good.
You're like, this is, I mean, I don't, Ben Affleck, this Good Will Hunting. I mean,
this was one of Ben and Matt's best.
And then Jason Bateman.
Yeah.
I mean,
People
this
forget
is
about that one too.
I thought Ozark was okay, and then I saw him in Air, and I'm like, nobody's been better.
Jason Bateman's only gotten better.
People don't talk about Ozark as much anymore. Ozark was great during COVID.
Or the Hogan Family. Great sitcom.
You go back to
that's still
Teen Wolf 2, guys.
Very underrated.
Teen Wolf 2.
But when you were watching Air, you're like, yeah, man. Answer to the trivia question: who was drafted after Sam Bowie? What will be the answer to this trivia question? Who was drafted after Bronny?
Was that Kevin McCullough?
Yeah, it was McCullough. Yes.
It was
Kansas.
Kevin McCullough,
Kevin McCullough
by Phoenix.
Yeah. Kansas's finest, Kevin McCullough.
Still sad about Furphy. I laughed as I was getting caught up, and then 2 minutes later, it's like, wait, they traded him? Well, that's no fun.
Yeah, they got to work on the whole NBA trades and stuff. It's very awkward because guys are getting drafted and,
A different hat.
Well, yeah, and then they have their hat on and they're all excited to go to Portland. And then moments later,
having a Doug,
you find out, oh, give me that hat back because you've been traded to Chicago.
So then you got to go on like the gram or something and pose with that. You don't get to come back out on.
Well, if I remember correctly, so, when, I mean, it was when Doug got selected by the Nuggets, so he had the Nugget hat. I don't know, did they ever give him the bowl? I mean, now it wasn't like that. Denver drafted him because Chicago wanted him and they immediately traded.
Yes.
It was a little bit later in the night.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, answer to that trivia question, Anthony Randolph is the player that went with Doug.
That's another good trivia question right there.
I don't think because like all the pictures were with the Nuggets draft hat.
Yeah.
Did he ever have a Bulls draft hat?
I don't remember him doing it, but you know what?
Because the NBA handles the trades oddly. First of all, Woj or Shams is breaking them, and then the player gets drafted. Nobody stops and goes, no, you actually are not going to Portland. You're going to, again, Chicago. Until later, and then the commissioner comes back out and he goes, we have a trade.
Yeah, I got nothing as far as him with Adam Silver. Now there's him holding a Bulls jersey and a Bulls hat, but that is in a completely different backdrop.
So that's probably like his press conference.
Yes.
Where they introduced the first round pick, they fly out to Chicago.
It honestly looks like it looks like a backdrop that you would have had for your senior picture.
Do you think he still has his Denver Nugget draft hat?
I hope so.
I mean, we're now on 10 years.
Yeah, I would think he does.
2014 draft.
Yeah, did you just leave it? No, I bet he does. That's part of the whole process.
Kind of like the draft hats this year. Not that I'm going to buy one, but they were okay.
I've not liked any draft hat in any sport for the last decade.
I think
they're just too loud.
I think they should have draft hats that look like the old Pittsburgh Pirate hat. The pipe
with the piping.
Yeah.
Actually, so I'm looking at the Denver Nugget hat that he. Oh, never mind. Oh, that's bad. On the bill, it says Denver. Underneath, that's just too much. So it's actually encouraging you to go flat bill and kind of flip it up. Shouldn't have to do that. Shouldn't have to be encouraged to go flat bill. Yeah. No.
You know what? One thing kids will never get to know of the era of hats, and this may have even been a draft hat. When do you guys think that the painter's cap will come back? Did you guys ever get a painter's cap back in the day when those were a big deal?
No. So my brother-in-law still wears one. Okay. He still wears a painter's cap.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I remember these.
I never. But he always wears, it's like a dark brown-ish painter's cap. He always wears it.
I bought a Chicago Cubs painter's cap. You want a little story of somebody that tried to get in on the craze of the painter's cap? So John Baylor, who has made some wise financial investments, has a mega corporation going now that does great work with Baylor Test Prep. John had this idea because we were working together at Broadcast House. And he goes, hey, I love the painter's cap. What if we did a salary cap? So he got these painter's cap
like dollar signs
that had dollar signs on it, and that was the salary cap. He tried to sell them. Now, fortunately, John was smart enough, and he is extremely smart when it comes to business.
Yeah,
I think he only ordered about 100 of them.
That's good.
But he sold, I don't know, he sold maybe 40.
So when you're walking around with that, be like, "What do you got on
now
there?"
He's
the salary cap.
He's moved a couple of times in Lincoln, so I don't know if he still has them in a box. But I asked him one time. I asked him probably 15 years ago, and he's like, "Yeah, I think they're in the garage." Yeah, he tried to jump on the painter's cap craze, but
the only painter's cap that you could pull off would have been the Pittsburgh Pirates one.
Now the Cubs one was pretty cool because the top had the logo. It had Chicago across the front, and you could fold it up and put it in your pocket.
You could. Yeah, you could do that.
All right, here is Andrew on the 42-degree The Source hotline. Good morning, Andrew.
Hello.
Hi, Andrew.
Hey, speaking of painter's caps, what was that brand of clothing that started with B, like in the 80s?
Hypercolor?
And I can't remember.
Where like it would change colors if you like were sweating or if there was heat on you?
Zubaz?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, Hypercolor, man.
Yeah, they were big into those, weren't they?
I mean, Hypercolor is very popular.
I was wearing Garanimals, husky jeans. I had no idea.
I did own a pair of Z Cavaricis.
Anyway, that's good. Remember Jabot?
Oh, Jabots, yes.
1994.
Meritoire Francois Jabot.
Anyway.
Got a Scott Frost story about that, by the way.
Why is Bronny is not good.
Yes, that's correct.
Bronny is overrated. And you know what? Why didn't somebody draft him and then hold the Lakers for ransom and get like a bunch of picks out of the deal? There's no love in it, you know?
I feel like that's what Gary was implying. Wouldn't it have been funny if the Celtics would have done that?
Let's go cutthroat on this bad boy. I mean, what? LeBron James' son, I think at USC, he was hurt, but he averaged 4.8.
5.
Yeah, 5 points a game.
Mm-hmm.
And they're making him out to be like this great superstar. Just a joke. The Lakers are a joke. They'll just keep on making these stupid-ass decisions. And, you know, to me, I would have traded LeBron too, but that's a story for another.
You're not very far off. Andrew, thanks for the phone call.
I was listening to Petros and Money for a second.
Well, if you press the Lakers, would they have like, well, man, LeBron would have left a couple of years ago. So this is the current Lakers. They hired LeBron was doing a podcast, and so their head coach is LeBron's podcast partner.
Yep.
And they hired his son. His son is not NBA ready.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we're talking about a second round 55th pick. So who knows what's going to happen, but he does need some seasoning and he needs some time. It's just his last name will not give him time.
100%.
I mean, he needs some time to just go play basketball, professional basketball, and he won't get it. And, you know, I mean, he's got an agent who was telling everybody that, you know, if you draft him, you're not the Lakers. He's going to go to Australia. People at some point, they got to help the kid out because all intents and purposes, the kid is really good. Okay, nice. But he is caught up in this. And I mean, we've already crushed him before he's gotten a chance to like just take a step forward. The easy part is over. The hard part is playing professional basketball and trying to get away from, oh yeah, I know why you're on. The G League would be perfect for him, but I don't know if that's going to happen. But he needs time. I wonder, 3 years from now, Lakers win a championship. Is there a James on the roster?
I'm inclined to say no. I don't think there would be. And this, I love that you brought up that comparison between Tiger and Charlie and LeBron and Bronny, because I also, that's the one concern that I have with Charlie Woods is no matter how much dad doesn't force you down that path or doesn't, become dad coach, if you will, that name is always going to carry a certain amount of expectations. And LeBron could be fantastic about supporting his son and not putting that world of expectations on him. But you're 100% right with that name for someone who needs development, just like what Charlie Woods, he's going to need some time also to handle the rigors of being on the tour. And, college golf is not going to be easy either. But as much as I think everybody close around Charlie would say, hey, let's just give him time. Remember, you don't have to be your dad. Golf fans are going to see that he has ability and his last name is Woods, and he does have privileges that maybe a lot of other golfers in his age range, they don't have because of who their father is. So you're immediately going to have those expectations. And one slip up or one falter of those expectations, falling short of those expectations, we're going to consider that a bust. And that's not fair to those kids because they're never going to be allotted that time that everybody else would probably get.
You know who has to be irate about yesterday is the NBA World Champions, the Boston Celtics. That's almost an afterthought now that they won the championship.
Yeah. No, it's a great point.
Because every show talking NBA today is talking about the Los Angeles Lakers, who, what happened to them in the postseason?
They were swept.
Yeah.
I got my broom out.
Yep.
My name is Joker. Nobody's talking about the Celtics.
Nobody's
so bad. Blair Rasmussen averaged 14 points in that series.
Nobody's talking about the path of of each team's second round pick either. Nobody's talking about, okay, now here's where it's going to start. Here's what the plan should be. Here's what's realistic. Nobody else is getting that conversation other than Bronny. Again, not his fault. That was always going to happen. But yeah, you're right. I mean, nobody else is being discussed.
Yeah.
But none of it is surprising.
Matt Verzal, who always says surprising things. He will join us next on Mornings with Sharp and Handley and Jimmy on 1620 The Zone.
Gary Sharp, Nick Handley, and Jimmy Chavez. Mornings with Sharp and Handley. Weekdays 6 to 10 on 1620 The Zone and 1620thezone.com. Your Omaha area forecast presented by Funplex Water Park and Rides from the KETV Newswatch 7 Weather Center on 1620 The Zone.
Friday is a severe weather day with a chance for strong to severe storms in the metro, mainly between 2 and 6 p.m. All modes of severe weather in play with any stronger storms. Otherwise, expect warm, humid, and breezy conditions with highs in the mid to upper 80s. I'm meteorologist Sean Everson from KETV Newswatch 7.
Need meat for your 4th of July party? Stampede Ranch Farms has you covered. 20 ribeyes for $40 is back at Westroads Mall by Von Mauer, Oakview Mall by Golf Galaxy, and Tractor Supply off L Street in Omaha, and Tractor Supply in Council Bluffs at the end of South Expressway. Steak, chicken, pork chops, and seafood. Stock up now on prices on meat you haven't seen since 2019. Bulk family party packs to fill your freezer. Westroads Mall by Von Mauer, Oakview Mall by Golf Galaxy, and Tractor Supply off L Street in Omaha, and Tractor Supply in Council Bluffs at the end of South Expressway. 20 ribeyes for $40. Huge truckload meat sale is going fast. Huge bulk deals on New York strips, fillets, mega ribeyes, gourmet smash burgers, plus chicken and seafood. All payments accepted. Cash, credit, debit, and EBT. Look for the big truck and big tent and signs that say 20 ribeyes for $40. Plus huge bulk deals on steak, chicken, seafood, and pork. Limited time. Westroads Mall by Von Mauer, Oakview Mall by Golf Galaxy, and Tractor Supply off L Street in Omaha, and Tractor Supply in Council Bluffs at the end of South Expressway.
Hey Nebraskans, your signatures are needed to finally legalize medical marijuana, but time is limited. There's nearly 1 week left. Get to the state's best liquor stores, wine, beer, and spirits today and sign. Support NMN2024.org to make a donation.
I'm Dave Osted. And I'm Ryan Osted. Every golfer will get value from being custom fit. The truth is, the higher handicappers will get more value from being custom fit than the low handicappers.
It's changed so much since my dad started the business in 1963. We now have hundreds of thousands of dollars in technology, and we know exactly what the spin rate is, what the launch angle is. We encourage you to bring your current clubs in now, and we can compare it. And guys walk out of the store knowing that the purchase they just made, they're going to give them 21 more yards off the tee box. Play better, have fun, and shop Osted's.
Are you the decision maker in your company? Consider this. For For the first time in decades, there's a better option for a corporate card and spend management platform. Meet Ramp, the only corporate card and spend management system designed to help you spend less money so you can make more. Most corporate credit cards offer points as incentives, but those points amount to less than their worth in real cash value. Ramp's business cards offer you cash back, real money in your pocket. Plus, you control who spends what with each vendor. And Ramp's software collects and verifies receipts automatically, which means you'll stop wasteful spending and close your books in hours instead of days. Businesses that use Ramp add up to 5% to their bottom line the first year. If you're a decision maker, adding Ramp could be one of the best decisions you've ever made. And now get $250 when you join Ramp for free. Just go to ramp.com/sports. Ramp.com/sports. ramp.com/sports.
Cards issued by Sutton Bank and Celtic Bank, members FDIC. Terms and conditions apply.
How powerful is Cox Fiber? Powerful enough to let your band members in Vegas, Phoenix, and Omaha jam like you're all in the same garage. Introducing Cox Fiber, from the company with the fastest download speeds 9 years in a row. It's internet built for tomorrow, today. Cox, always building better. Limited availability in select areas. Speeds vary and are not guaranteed. Cox terms and other restrictions may apply. Analysis by Ookla Speed Test Intelligence in Las Vegas, Omaha, Phoenix. Fixed median download speeds Q2 2016 to Q1 2024.
Now back to Mornings with Sharp and Handley on 1620 The Zone.
Hey, if you're looking for something to do and you find yourself watching some Northwoods baseball, you will see our favorite nephew, who is tearing it up in the Northwoods League. His uncle is Matt Verzal, and he joins us now. Good morning, Verz.
What's up, boys?
Hey, Max is on a tear. Kudos to him.
He's doing all right. He went through a little slump, but yeah, he's sitting it okay. He's playing a lot of positions. So he's played outfield, he's caught, and he played first last night. It's pretty fun. I didn't realize ESPN Plus carried those.
Yeah.
So I've been able to pick them up, and it's kind of funny to see it because you're like, man, that's my nephew. But yeah, he's doing good. He likes it, and Troopy Toy Play just likes getting away from parents for a little bit. Nobody can critique him from the inside.
So he's playing for the Wilmer Stingers. So let me go back. Let me go back to something. He's playing. So last year he was playing outfield, a little bit of first base, and then got to Lincoln, and they turned him into a catcher. So does that mean, even with the catcher position open in Lincoln, that he may not be just a catcher next year?
Well, no. He pitched, played outfield in high school.
Okay.
And so then when Coach Bolt and Coach Childress and the crew said, hey, we're going to need you to catch. And he was like, sure. So, team, that's just how we're raised. He's a team guy. So he caught a lot last year. I think he had a little struggle with it, but hey, that's the way it goes. Freshmen figure it out. And now they've talked, and he's played a bunch of outfield. And then I think last night something happened to the kid that was going to play first.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of the same way the night before with the catcher. So listen, too many kids, like I've said it on here, I think POs are stupid. Like, play baseball, play a position, like have a value to your team. And so when they go to him and say, hey, you're going to catch tonight, initially I'm probably sure he's like, oh, man. But you go in and catch, and your pitcher did great. I think they won 19-1 last night, or 2 nights ago now. Like, hey, first baseman's a little under the weather. You go play first. Like, sure, you bet. Put me in there. So I'm getting, if you have that mindset where I'm just getting in, I'm playing, I'm getting at bats, I'm seeing pitches, I'm hitting the ball. That's good. But yeah, he's hit some bombs, so that's good. And I know he was super stoked about him, so that's good to see him excited.
I know they did this a long time ago, and I don't know if Max has said anything, but the Northwoods League, I think it was back in it might have been 2017. They did the home run derby actually off of a dock along the lakes, and they hit it off the lakes. I don't know. First of all, is Max? Do we know if he's going to partake in any of the Northwoods League festivities? I don't know when they're doing their All-Star game necessarily, but I know they do that, and I'm curious if they're bringing back the home run derby on the lake.
I will have to find that out.
Yeah.
I don't know. Uncle Matt, here's my role in the thing. Okay. Uncle Matt does two things. He says, I'm proud of how hard you work. I love to watch you play. And you were out at third. So there was a play where he kind of hit a wall and headed to third base, but the umpire, he must have bought him a sandwich or something because he called him safe. But I just want him to know that the same way with Cash. I only tell Cash, hey, buddy, you did great. I love to watch you play. That's it. Now, if they come to me and they say, hey, do you see something or am I doing something, blah, 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 blah. Then I'll say, we could probably work on this. We could probably work on that. It's never, he gets enough of that from everyone else in my family. No names being mentioned. Okay. Because I want to keep myself alive. But it's just like, sometimes you just got to know, hey, buddy, just go have a blast.
Yeah.
You're 19, you're 17, Cash, man. Just go have fun.
Yeah.
Play hard. If they recruit you, great. If they don't, then take out, go knock out legally their player they did recruit. Like, it's a very simple game. You don't like me, you think I'm too short, you think I'm too slow. You got a guy you're scholarshiping. He's going to come in my area. I'm going to hit him hard and make sure he doesn't get up. So that's just my role. I don't, but I will ask. I'll try to get on there and see what's going on. That thing off the dock sounds sweet.
Yeah,
though.
so it was in 2016 they did it. It was in Kenosha. And yeah, they called it the home run derby off the harbor.
Cool.
And so yeah, they hit off of the docks and they had fans lining like the side and the shoreline, and then they literally hit it into the lake and they had markers up. It was one of the coolest things. I don't think they've done it since, and I'm just curious if it's ever been talked about. And since he's in the thick of it, I'd be curious if they've ever discussed that.
Yeah, we'll have to see. I probably won't reach out to him. I'll do some research on how they pick the people and then say, hey, why don't you hit a couple more so you can get in this thing?
Yeah, there you
go. Cash going to be baseball or football at the next level?
No. Cash man only plays spring ball. He don't play the summer ball. He wants to play football. Cash is like his dad. Cash enjoys the hit, the physical contact. He's about that life. Like, he likes that stuff. And, he knows, hey, I'm going to get got, but if I get you more than I get got, then I win. So he's just out on the camp circuit running and jumping and all that fun stuff. And yeah.
Are you guys
what the Knits do this year?
Are you guys getting close to, I know, well, your favorite thing, 7-on-7, but as far as, hell, we're not that far away from actually reporting to camp for high school too. What's going on with Scott? What's going on with the high school element of it right now in the summer?
No, just I know they got around a 7-on-7 going. My role is reduced quite a bit. I got some other things happening right now. So I go on Tuesdays and Thursdays. I work with the young guys on Tuesday mornings and then Thursday. Moving weights. I think in the 7-on-7 Super Bowl or whatever that thing they do at whatever school they do it at, I think they did okay.
Yeah.
And then they got stomped by the 3-time champs, I heard the other day. So yeah, live and learn. You don't learn anything from winning. You learn a lot from losing. So.
Hey, how and I'm not going to ask you if you're a recruiter. How soon in the process do you think colleges realize a kid likes being recruited more than likes playing?
At this day and age, now, probably within the first 5-10 minutes.
Yeah.
3, 4, 5 years ago, the coaches like, man, this guy really loves us. Like, he can't stop taking on and off our jerseys and taking pictures of them and posting them on his Instagram. And can he play a lick? We don't know, but man, he likes us. He really likes us. His dad has our jersey on. This is great. His dad's in the pictures now. They love us. So I think it's like anything when it's new and whatever university came up with the big hype train and the sitting on the thrones and all that BS, the chains and the blah, 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 blah. They kind of created it, and then the college had to have time to adjust to it. Now the coaches get it a little bit more. And you're seeing it in all sports, which is great. They like, okay, Doug, you're here for the views. You're here for the gram. take your pictures, beat it, and then we'll get football players in here and we'll go win.
And, with that, though, there is the parent element that we see them get caught up into it a little bit as well. And I know that can be a big part of a coaching staff being able to vet the recruit. You see what you see either in person or on film. You like those things. Then you get an idea of where they come from. Do you think that is a little bit more difficult to detect as well?
Nope, not anymore. Because, I'll say this and take it however you want. If it applies, listen to it. If it doesn't, doesn't. But you've raised a child that's been God-given ability and succeeded. But you're so pathetic that you have to make it about you as the parent. Like that drives me crazy.
Mm-hmm.
This is about the kid. Now, what they're worried about is they didn't raise the kid well enough to make adult decisions on their own. So they hop in and try to take some of the spotlight, and then they put the kid in a weird position where it's like, oh man, it's my family. I love them. Whatever they do, I do, blah, 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 blah. Mm-hmm. Again, much with the Instagram recruits, you have coaches now that have a finite eye. Hurley nailed it. I'm at your AAU game. Okay. I know you can play. I'm watching you. And if you make 28 points, great. If you make 60 points, great. I'm watching you when you get knocked down. Do your teammates come over and pick you up? Because that means they like you. Mm-hmm. They know you got done dirty. They want to help you up. I watch your parents in the stands. Do your parents clap when someone else scores? Because that's what I want in my program. If your parent only claps when you score, I don't want you. He goes, and he said it. We've quit recruiting people for the way their parents act in the stands. And I just, chef's kiss, brilliant. Because it's never the kid that is the problem. And if you get the kid away from a psychotic parent, you can help the young man or woman, because it's women too. Yeah. Let's not kid ourselves.
Yep.
If somebody told Angel Reese somewhere along the line she was really good, and her 22% percentage from inside the lane is telling me different, but different story for a different day. But when you get that separated, you can help the young person. But that parent being a wackadoo, it happens here. This isn't just big city stuff. You got dudes in a dust up at a 7-on-7 tourney in Nebraska. Like, come on, man. Be the adult. And that's why I just be better. Like, you're pathetic. Just be better. It ain't about you. You ain't playing. You had your chance, and I know some coach screwed you down the line. Too bad, bud. You should have been an all-pro and be in the Hall of Fame of the NFL. But you ain't.
Hey,
you're helping your son or daughter move on.
Hey, you are right. So we hear a lot about some AAU parent dust-ups. The 7-on-7 dust-ups are starting to come to the forefront.
Absolutely, Rick. And you can tell the kids that are raised to make it about themselves, get your shine. Like, you make a catch that you should make over a defensive back. How about this? How about you catch it? You just throw the ball to the ref. You guys both high-five each other. Hey, man, we'll be back. Get it again next time. Great rep. Done. Don't pat somebody on the head. Don't tell them they're too small. Because when you drop it, then he's going to try to come back over the top of you. And both of you are just dumb enough to be dangerous, and you're going to get pissed off, and then you start fighting, and then you got to shut down the whole tournament. Like, stupid is just stupid.
Yeah, it's crazy that's happening in Omaha. All right, we'll get chatting on this. Do you remember back to your prom and your buddies who had dates? Did anybody have what?
I had a date.
I know, but you're going to get what? Was she older than you? Was she maybe 8 years older than you?
He's a big Duke fan.
Do your thing, dog. Hey, everybody else there is jealous. Everybody else there is jealous. Like, wait a minute, you got a 24-year-old date, and my date is probably going to get wasted and pass out, and I just got to go home. Like, that girl, your girl knows what she's doing. And wait a minute, you got your own hotel room? Like, how did you do that? She booked it for her. Man. That little gal's gonna have a line of people grooming. Like, there'll be high school dudes sign up. Like, I'm not. You got friends? Like, I was just like, are they Mormon too? Sign up sheet? How do I do this?
Hey, you mentioned Filipowski in that. I think one of the times we talked in the court storming when he got knocked down, and you weren't a big Filipowski fan. Did this story change your opinion on him?
No, I understand why he's falling down. He doesn't wear his pants.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's a good point. Yep,
Yeah.
that's a good point.
Yes,
He's backup. So listen, she's probably raised her hand in the kitchen, and he's at the turf like that, like he doesn't want to get beat.
He's taking charges at home.
Don't laugh at that. That's not funny.
It is.
That's just the Duke in him. These people are just like that.
Yes. Many are saying that. Verz, have a wonderful weekend. As always, great conversation.
Well, have a good one.
Thank you. That's Matt Verzal. You can follow him on Twitter at Verz51.
It delivered.
No, he's the reason I laughed at that is because I'm assuming she did raise the hand and he took the charge. He just flopped, as opposed to actually any type of contact.
Did he pound the floor afterwards?
Yeah, and then no contact, just taking the charge, taking the flop. That's why I thought that was really, really.
So it's perfect. He's going to Utah because they've been flopping for years.
You wash your mouth.
I just love that.
Court Karolinko.
Where'd you get the hotel? She bought it for us.
Hey, where'd you get the car? Oh, she's old enough to rent a car.
It all makes sense.
You got any friends?
He's right. People envy him.
I agree that.
Hell, my family thinks I disowned him after I moved.
You're a certain age, but you look a certain way. How your peers are going to look at you when you bring that person to prom. To hell with the whole who's wearing the pants in that relationship. It's gonna be like, damn, good for you, man. How'd you do that?
Your date's wearing cucumber.
Then maybe
lotion.
later you find out about the brainwashing, if that's exactly what's taking place. So again, there's always two sides to every story. We're only getting it from the parent side. I've always wanted to know what Aaron Rodgers' side is with his estranged family. They're the ones that always talk and say they've been shut out of his life. He doesn't broach the topic. So there's always two sides to every story. It's usually somewhere in the middle, right?
What
right?
Paul Harvey always said, pretty much.
That's the rest of the story.
Got it going on. Last segment of the week coming up next.
Mornings with Sharp and Handley on 1620 The Zone and 1620thezone.com with Gary Sharp and Nick Handley. Big names, big games. We've got them all. 1620 The Zone.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online at hims.com/radio. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation to determine the ED medication that's best for you, discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and a range of treatment options, including trusted generic alternatives to the name brands, at up to 95% off. ED is personal, and at Hims, so is treating it. Just go to hims.com/radio and get connected to a licensed medical provider online for free, with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, hims.com/radio. That's hims.com/radio for your free online visit. hims.com/radio.
Think about it. How prepared are you for the unexpected? Emergencies strike without warning, and we all know something big will be thrown at us soon. Being prepared makes all the difference. This means having a reliable food supply stored to use during tougher times. That's why at My Patriot Supply, we sell thousands of our 4-week emergency food kits every week. Each kit is packed with delicious, easy-to-prepare meals that provide over 2,000 calories per day. These kits are designed to stand by for up to 25 years, ready to use when you need them most. This week, save $50 on every 4-week emergency food kit you need. Simply go to mypatriotsupply.com and secure one for each family member. That's $50 off every 4-week emergency food kit. Order by 3 p.m. and your kit's shipped that same day. It's better to have emergency food than to need it and not have it. Shop mypatriotsupply.com. mypatriotsupply.com.
Ramona's Mexican Restaurant, previously located at 30th and Reddick and now at 30th and Willett in historic Florence, is still the way you remember it. Nachos, deep fried burritos, and those amazing cinnamon chips. Have a margarita or a cocktail. Open until 2 a.m. on Friday and Saturdays too. And try Ramona's Out of This World 2.5-pound massive burger with cheese, lettuce, tomatoes, and pickles. Ramona's Mexican Restaurant. Stop in today. Follow them on Facebook for specials and news about their monthly musical bingo.
Getting quality employees to fill positions in your company is essential, but finding those people can be a major hassle, unless you use ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter makes finding quality people a breeze. And right now you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. With ZipRecruiter, one click sends your job to hundreds of top job sites. But more than that, ZipRecruiter's advanced technology identifies the candidates with the skills you need, sends you a list of great matches to review, then actively invites them to apply for your job. And the results speak for themselves. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. That's right, the first day. Now you can focus on your business and let ZipRecruiter do the work finding the best people for you. See for yourself. Experience the ease, efficiency, and power of ZipRecruiter for free. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
When you shop local, you help strengthen our community. So if you need roof repair, gutters, siding, even windows, call local Pyramid Contractors. They're the #1 roofer in Omaha for more than a dozen years. Let Pyramid Contractors come and give you a free estimate. Give them a call at 402-502-9300. That's 402-502-9300. Or visit them online at
PyramidRoof.com. Never settle for less.
And we're back. Mornings with Sharp and Handley. Here's Gary, Nick, and Jimmy on 1620 The Zone.
All right, welcome back in. Also, welcome to the pre-holiday week news dump day. About to ready to go into a holiday week next week,
Yeah.
July 4th. You never know what
do we
might
keep
be
hitting?
announced today. Also, I'm looking at a condensed version of the highlights of last night's presidential debate.
Yeah.
CNN did a post-wrap. They had 9 people on their desk. That'd be awesome if Game Day did the same thing. Have 9 people on the desk.
And Dr. Joyce Brothers.
Surprised ESPN Game Day doesn't have a little political flavor to it. Just to kind of warm up the Game Day crew. They just get to sit by too.
They
have a
did, Nick.
desk.
They did, Nick. Lee Corso was doing the debate last night. All right, TC writes into the Equitable Bank inbox. Just keep it moving. Keep it moving. We're all human.
Yep.
Just dudes arguing about golf. That's all.
Yeah.
Dudes naming their golf scores.
Yep. Club champions and what have you.
Happens on the station all the time.
I played OCC and shot a 112. But I've gotten better since then.
Yeah.
TC writes in about nepotism. How incensed was Joe Buck about the Lakers drafting Bronny? I'm sure it helped out to have Jack Buck as your dad. Somewhere Harry Carey is floating in his giant glass of beer in the sky. Do the names Skip and Chip ring a bell?
Mm-hmm. He put an entire list together of.
Oh, this is pretty good.
Yeah. Jack and Joe Buck, Mike Golick Sr. and Jr., Phil and Chris Sims, Harry, Skip and Chip Carey, Dick and Jeremy Schaap, Marty and Tom Brenneman, Bob and Brian
There's
Greasy.
a fly ball to
Castellanos, Will and Sean McDonough,
in the force.
Ernie Johnson Sr. and Jr., Chris and Jack Collinsworth, Marv, Al, Steve, and Kenny Albert, Joe and Mark Boyle, Sid and Chad Hartman, Ray and Hal Scott.
Man, I miss Sid. Chad's I think he's still doing his show on CCO. Used to be on The Fan. I've gotten to know Chad a little bit. Thank you for the Ray and Hal Scott. All these guys are in broadcasting.
Yeah.
Dang it, Walt Sharp.
I never had a chance.
You notice he didn't say Walt and Gary Sharp.
Walt Sharp, yeah. Walt Sharp wanted to be in baseball.
See, you could have been the next great scout. They could have made a movie after you and Brendan Fraser.
I saw that lifestyle. I'm like, you're driving to go sign Jeremy Burnett's. No thanks, Dad. I'm going to play baseball. You're telling me about some hockey player in Jamestown, North Dakota that is big leaguing you guys? Not a chance. Hello, Darren. There's Dad.
Hi, Darren.
My dad was not the lead scout on that, but because he was the cross-checker in the Midwest, he was like the second guy. And I remember him returning the first time they went to the Erstads. He's like, I think he's going to play hockey. I think he's going to go to the USHL.
We could have played for the Fargo. Was it the Fargo Force? What was the Fargo team?
What were they back? They were the Fargo Moorhead Sharks back then.
Sharks, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He goes, yeah, I think he's
Sharks in North Dakota.
He goes, I think he's going to play hockey. Yeah. I said, Dad, I think he's going to be a kicker. He's going
to be a punter.
He's going to be a kicker and a punter at Nebraska.
Yep.
And he might play baseball. We don't know.
Maybe even coach it one day.
He's interested in it, but yeah. This is a good one with our continuing the nepotism and teacher conversation we had. This comes from Phil in the Equitable Bank inbox. Said, I was in middle school walking into sex ed test review day. The teacher was gone. I walked in and everyone was laughing at me. That's how I found out the sub was my mom. I sat in the back and hid under my desk the whole class. But what Phil failed to say, did he say mom or did he say Mrs. whatever her last name is?
I would just avoid all eye contact.
Yeah, that just especially with the topic at hand, that cuts a little bit deeper than say your common English class or social studies.
Shout out, by the way, to Creighton men's basketball. They released their non-conference schedule. They have to be one of the first to release the whole non-conference schedule in men's basketball. Oh, by the way, coincides with, I think you got your season ticket renewal today.
Funny how that happens.
So Nebraska, their season ticket renewal, which I noticed, has come out.
Mm-hmm.
They do not have their full schedule out yet. So Creighton has to be one of the earliest to get their non-con out. Now they have to wait on the Big East because, there's certain NBA, NHL arenas that are shared. But man, to get their non-con out there and then the season ticket renewal comes out and you look at the home schedule and you go, we're getting Kansas, and we're getting UNLV, and we're getting Nebraska. Man, that's a very robust non-con schedule for Creighton after the first couple of weeks of bye games.
When's Omaha's?
It's getting close. I mean, I know.
I mean, you probably.
Well, the bigger thing is, talk to any Omaha fan. I want to know when hockey is coming out. It's done.
Yep.
I've seen it.
Could be a lot of home November games again. Not a fan of that.
I think they're close on publicly releasing that. The men's basketball schedule has one game that is left.
Okay,
but it's not a bad home slate.
Any trips you're excited for? You're like, oh, that'd be nice.
Akron, Ohio.
There you go.
Oh,
before Thanksgiving.
Beautiful.
And then
sounds great.
I think we're going to we play at UNLV. I think we're going to be in Vegas for 10 days to get ready for one game.
Oh, for one game. Yeah, you should be. You got to get the lay of the land. The air is different, time zone, all that. Got to get acclimated to everything.
Iowa State is on the trip.
Okay.
Make it happen this year, yeah.
UConn wanted Omaha to come play.
Did I see Hilton's putting up a new video board, by the way? I believe they are.
Who?
Hilton. I think they're putting up a new video board.
Hilton Coliseum.
Yeah, Hilton Coliseum. Yeah.
They meant the hotel.
All that Casey's money.
Yeah, one of that Hiltons that you guys are, I'm sure, going to stay at.
I hope everybody had a good time today and laughed and was informed that Kyle Filipowski went to prom with a 24-year-old who had a master's degree. And
was his babysitter.
And now, 4 years later, Kyle Filipowski, who is converting to being a Mormon because of his girlfriend who has brainwashed him, according to his family, not me, according to his family, was drafted by the Utah Jazz.
Sometimes you just can't make these things up.
And we've learned from the draft that America needs to stop sending aid to countries that are better than us in basketball. Have a great weekend, everybody. Live, laugh, and punt. Make memories, be safe, be smart, Have a fun weekend. We'll be back with you next week. We'll be here. It'll be a holiday week.
Oh, yeah.
But we will be here.
We've confirmed it.
But keep an eye on the great news dump on a Friday before the holiday week. And maybe that'll give us something to talk about when we reconvene on Monday. Crossover's coming up next. We'll talk to you at 6 on 1620 The Zone.